Alright, we're live. Hello, everyone. I think we're gonna be co-casting with T90 today, so we'll see how that's gonna work. Don't know if... We're probably not gonna combine the chats or anything, but that's gonna be hard because I have 4 chats to keep track of. There's gonna be both YouTube chats and both Twitch chats. And it does look like we have the draft set up already. I also have to make sure I take care of my overlay properly. So there we are, draft time. nicov versus running in Group C. So apparently T90 has a flight that he needs to catch, so we're gonna co-cast, and if he has to go run to his flight, then I will finish the set. Like MBL needing to get a pizza. Hey, Arbe's given us the details already. And, oh yes, running drafted Coast Arena. I'm glad to see that. And he got big Seychelles. Well, we could not have had 2 more different maps. Well, I guess Coast Arena does have a coastline on it. It's not all clown stuff. Someone has been checking the chat layout, I assume? What do you mean checking the chat layout? What do you mean by that? I've been adjusting overlays and stuff. I don't know what you mean by chat layout specifically. Ah, yes. I have been. Lots of flowers. Yeah. That shows up in the chat. Oh, yeah, T90 says, I'll call you when the 2-minute spec delay happens. Sounds good. Casting booth in Discord. In his... Discord. Ask your Discord or the TTL one. Can I force my way into the casting booth? Oh, okay, the casting booth. There we are. Alright, I'm in the casting booth in T90's Discord. So, hello, Caterpillar. How you doing? Just hang out here and wait for someone to join. So look at this draft, and we have nicov not liking the closed maps. I'll end up with Monocle for game 1. Okay. Hello, MF. Happy to watch some matches. Happy to have you in the chat. Yeah, okay, so... nicov taking the most watery map there is, taking his pick of the clown maps. Bypass, Quarry, Two Load, Zimbabwe, and Coast Arena. I guess we do have 5 closed-ish maps. Two Load isn't really a closed map, though. It's pretty aggressive with the water in the middle. New peak elo because people abandoned games and resigned early. I hit my peak team game elo, I remember, because I ran into Sito and a high elo stack on the ladder, and they tried to troll by going Goths for the barracks production and 3 Eagle civs on Arena. I think they might have defeated one of my teammates, or almost defeated them, but then we won in the end. And that's when I peaked my team game elo. That's the trick. You need to find high elo players and beat them when they're trying to troll. So, Monaco, we've seen a lot of Romans, Japanese, Armenians, and Dravidians. There's a chance running bans all of them. Byzantines banned, which are maybe a counter-infantry. Killed 16 Vils from Cosmonaut the other day, doubled him as he tried to FC. I remember when the current Arabia flank meta of 18-19 pop double range archers was starting to catch on. I had paid attention to, I think, Sato, Anatov, and some other team game players as they were starting to do it. And I was an early adopter of it. And I had a game, I think it was against Sorakuma, and I went that build on the flank and just wrecked him. It was crazy how efficient it was before everyone caught on to it. And then now everyone does it, right? So everyone does it, everyone knows about it. But before, when people were either trying to like drush or go like 23 pop ranges on the flank, you'd hit them with that 18-19 pop timing and they just die. It was amazing how much being able to do that and not be quick-walled affects people when skirmishers really aren't a team game option because of the scouts from your pocket. That was years ago at this point. I'm sure he'd be aware of that now. Horse picking on Nomad to get instant fishing ship before TC is up. Nomad. As much as Nomad relies on randomness, I feel that Nomad is also the most skill-based map, where teams that are good at Nomad will have a bigger advantage by picking Nomad than anyone else will by picking any map. It is one of the maps where, as much as it has the most randomness, oddly enough, randomness matters the least. I like that, though. Instant fishing ship. Pilgrims, right, Pilgrims. Well, I had the experience, I think that Pilgrims might have actually been removed from the map pool because I submitted a bug report about the placeholder terrain. If you watched Red Bull and you saw the placeholder terrain show through on Loch Ness, the same thing happened on Pilgrims, and I reported that bug, and like a day after I reported it, they swapped it for African clearing. So I think it might have been the placeholder terrain that caused them to remove it. Oh, and T90 gave us a shout out, so hello T90. Should we give him a shout out too? Like 13 viewers. Oh, people are following. Hello, followers. Hello, hello. We have Zindrin, the Miniman 4, Surfshine, Arnold the Palm, Arnold Palmy alert, Hawkman, Letney, Derek. Meshuggle, did you unfollow just to refollow? I could have sworn you were following. And Aces. So welcome in, everyone. I hope you've been enjoying the maps, half-court hoops. You thought so too? I thought you were. That might just be an unfollow to refollow. I know some people do that. Yeah, like MF AOE, you did that. You're just an unfollow to refollow, aren't you? Well, anyway, thank you all. We hit 15k followers the other day, so hopefully we keep growing. You're doing it now. Now everyone's gonna do it. I'm gonna go down to 0 followers and then get 15k follows. And thank you, Jack. Anyway, so we're drafting. We have running. Here's our clown. Picked the most wonderful map in the map pool, Coast Arena. And then Nicov, who I've heard he's complained about all the closed maps in the map pool, banned all of the fun maps. And picked Seychelles as his map. It's a beautiful map, but it's also the most watery of them all. And Jupy, yay! 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you for the follow. And in terms of the civ bans, for monocle civs, all the good monocle civs, Japanese, Armenians, Romans, Dravidians, all banned. Am I the nerdiest? I would think so. That is a stack of math textbooks, or not a stack, but a neatly arranged collection of rows of math textbooks in the back. Is it nerdy to complete campaigns without kills and to script your own maps? How about writing static analysis tools and preprocessors to assist with scripting your own maps? Anyway, Koreans and Chinese for Nicov, and he might be going for some Fire Lancers at some point here. Georgians, Vikings, and Berbers too. And every civ for running so far, kind of both a hybrid map civ and a closed map civ. Funny how there's overlap there, but Malay, Italians, Byzantines his first pick. And even the Wu with Fire Archers could be interesting. I've not seen I have seen one game where the Wu won, but it felt like more they won because they won the game, even though they went Fire Lancers, than it was they won because they went Fire Lancers, if that makes sense. Not a stack, but yes, exactly. Especially using VS Code. Oh, see, I don't use VS Code, I use VS Codium, which is the less Microsoft version of VS Code. And hello, Jeep. We're using Windows 11 because we're streaming Age of Empires, and the 11 never ceases to make me laugh. Am I co-casting with T90 today? Yes, I am, Albert. Yes, I am. So what the plan is that T90 has to go catch a flight. So if we have a game of Seychelles that lasts 2 hours and the series doesn't finish in time, I will finish casting and he will run for his flight. Lons, Jeep, Lons. Hello, Red Cliffy. Lons. We need to get some more Lons. We should get some Lons merch. No one would ever understand that. But that'd be a great emote to have on the front of your t-shirt to go to an age meetup. Lons. We need baskets to get on that. Oh, I got it. A Lons basket. Well, like the front of the basket says Lons. Oh, we could make those just in time for Easter. For your Easter baskets. Also, if anyone's going to be at Red Bull in London, I will be there too. I won't be there to cast, I'll just physically be there. Yeah, I should. Let me message baskets right now. Alright, I gave him the idea. We'll see if he comes through. So there's the draft. T90 said he'll join the channel when they're about to start. So we'll keep an eye out for that. First map will be a Monocle. Yeah, T90 will be the co-caster. T90's job will be to point out if the maps are bugged, and then I can go fix them. How you doing? I'm doing pretty well, Jeep. How are you doing? So running, as much as he is the clown, and Coast Arena is definitely the clowniest of all the maps, I'm kind of surprised he didn't go for either Tulo or for Zimbabwe, because he did play in Stronghold Frenzy, and those two maps did appear in that event. I've been seeing Andy and some of the other players who had played Stronghold Frenzy pick those two maps quite a bit, as they're very familiar with them. Tula wasn't regicide there, so it is a bit different, but Zimbabwe is pretty much exactly the same. You're working and tired. Well, I hope you are more energized with some Age of Empires. With some second monitor content. Or some first monitor content if you put the work on the second monitor. The Inca could be an interesting monocle civ if you... I mean, they should have a good opening with their early drush, and if you survive to the Castle Age to get to Slingers, suddenly you might be in business. I can honestly see Koreans played on any of the three maps, too. Chinese may be harder to fit in somewhere, but I guess that could be the Seychelles civ. And Bigus Dickus, hello. Let's see, don't... Oh, there we go. They have a lobby. JBR is in their lobby. Making sure they get the settings correct. Oh, phone content since you're out in the field. Did I watch the Super Bowl? I did not watch the Super Bowl. No, I did not. Like I said, my Giants are so bad. I'm scared away from football for the moment. I did see the Patriots lost, though, so that's good. So running civs could kind of be used on all the maps too. I think they're definitely more interchangeable. Like nicov only could use, I mean, I'd say you only could use Vikings for Seychelles, but maybe there's a chance he uses Vikings for Monocle. You don't have a Dark Age eco bonus, but free wheelbarrow and handcart if you're going for swordsman with extra hit points might be a play. Berbers for faster moving ships could also be a water civ for Seychelles. The Man United of the NFL, I don't know anything about. I know that stands for Manchester United, but I don't know anything about them at all. T90 is the one named after the soccer cleats. He's the one who can probably answer your Man United questions or understand the analogy. Alright, I'll see if I can just get ads out of the way before T90 joins so that we don't have to deal with them later. I hope this works. The true American. Well, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I don't know if I can be a true American. Did I just set my platinum logo in Capture Age? I did. Good. They were so good for so long that everyone hates them, and now they're now they're bad, so everyone is happy. Makes sense. I think that's running the course with sports teams, right? Kind of like the opposite of Viper, though, who was so good for so long, but now he's washed up, and people need someone to beat Hera. Let's go running. I know we're gonna have a lot of running fans here. This chat's gonna be filled with swimming fans. As a United fan, incidentally. Who do you think could knock him off of his pedestal? I think Leary is probably the most likely to win against him. But probably not. I feel that Empire Wars really suits Hera. I think we need a more standard event. Something like KOTD, where...
hello, T-West.
Oh, hello there. Hello there. Hello, T90.
Sorry, did I scare you?
No, you didn't scare me. You might have scared my chat, though.
Okay, well...
You can answer the question that chat asked, since you interrupted me, though.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, they asked, who do you think could knock Hera off of his pedestal?
Did you answer?
I was in the process, so now I want to hear your answer.
I mean, I was asked this in the Reddit AMA this past week, and I said Leary. Leary's come really close a lot of times, so I think Leary's the one that comes to mind. I think Sebastian, maybe over time. I think Sebastian is another option there too. It's just sad because all the players who could potentially do it, that we say, have been close, and it hasn't happened yet, you know?
Yeah, that was also going to be my answer. I really like Sebastian's chances. I wonder if just how much all the drama affected Viper last year with the GL situation, and maybe if he's freed from that, he might be able to make a comeback or at least play better than he did in the last year.
Yeah, I mean, Viper's he's just not quite as sharp as he was in years past, and that's not a new thing. But a washed Viper, a weak version of Viper, is always top 4, it feels. So
almost, aside from Red Bull.
Aside from the Red Bull scenario. So yeah, Viper's always a threat too. Anyways, thanks for joining. It looks like it's about to start. We'll dive right into it. A good mix of maps. I'm sure you might have some tidbits and details on some of the maps since you're the scripter for it. But we're here.
I'm just
I gotta do my
break.
You can't even enjoy it because you're just so worried. Well, welcome everybody. We've got the opening matches for nicov and running in Titans League Season 5. nicov was top 4 in Titans League Season 4. He only had 6 wins in group stage, ends up getting to playoffs somehow, and then he ends up moving all the way and losing eventually, I think, to Hera in the semifinals. So not a bad showing from him. He'll look to repeat that. He's gone for the Chinese, and then we've got running here in the red. The groups are always going to be really difficult, and there's 2 players that get relegated to US. I think running is going to have a real tough time staying up, but I'd love for him to prove me wrong here.
Yeah, I do too. I think the one good thing for running... Also, what colors are you going to use? I'll put running in red, I think.
Yep, running in red.
All right, yeah, matches the flag a bit, right? nicov in blue for Argentina, running in red for Germany.
Yep.
So yeah, I think running is going to have a hard chance not being bottom of the group. But I think the map pool and the way the drafts work out means he's always going to have a closed map like Coast Arena he picked. And that should suit him really well. A couple of the maps like Tulo and Zimbabwe were in Stronghold Frenzy, which he played in. So he's going to be pretty familiar with them. And I don't know if he's going to be the favorite to win every set, but I think he's a lock to at least have one win, or maybe even be the favorite for one single map. Not that he's going to do all that well against the incredible players in this bracket with him, but I think the settings do favor him maybe playing the spoiler role and upsetting some other players on certain maps.
No, I could see that. I mean, if you look at all the Titans League seasons, there's almost always been that player who stays alive because they don't get swept, right? And we've seen instances this season in the upper and lower league where a player, something goes wrong the first game, they lose, they resign. Game 2 and 3, they're just mentally defeated and they can't play their best. And I think players who are like that will really struggle in this format. Whereas running, I find his consistency from game to game, win or lose, is really strong. So I agree. It's just, unfortunately, the competition is so high. And you got ACCM, Sebastian, Andy, Lewis, and then nicov. He's going to have to send somebody down if it's not going to be him. So we got Chinese here from nicov. This map is dominated by the shorefish. Chinese always need food to get their start rolling. And the start has been brilliant for nicov so far. So that's good. But then we got Incas on the other side from running. So what do you think about the Incas pick?
Well, we've seen a lot of swordsman play on this map. Lots of men-at-arms, I know we've seen some Armenian longswords, we've seen some Flemish militia from the Burgundians. And that's so dominant. I think the Inca could be a great play if you manage to kind of have an even game that gets to the Castle Age, and then you can add in slingers. But that's against most of the normal civs we'd see here. The Chinese have a great eco, but don't really feel like they're specialized for the map as some of the other civs are. Like we have Japanese or Dravidians for the Shorefish and the Good Swordsman line. We've seen Romans and Armenians. So I'm not sure what to expect from Nicov here if he does go for the men-at-arms line, or maybe just tries to go archers.
Yeah, I think at least the build so far, Nicov he's able to do this. It's actually one of the weakest builds for Chinese because of the 0 food start. Getting the food for man-at-arms is tricky, but he pushed in virtually every deer he had around. He brought in his boars. He only has 12 seconds of TC idle time. And then he can always shift over to the shorefish now. So I think there's... he could make this work, but what is he going to be up against? Because running has been, well, walking... and he is going to build a barracks near the shorefish. And I mean, he is placing the barracks directly where Nicov is milling as well.
Yes, will Nicov see this? His vills are close to it. I mean, if he were Koreans here, that's also in his draft, the vills with extra line of sight might actually see the barracks.
Well, my first thought is the surprise has to work because Nicov is also going to be surprising him. And because running has been escorting this villager this entire time, he hasn't been looking for Nikov's opening at all. And to your point, you don't always expect man-at-arms from Chinese. So both players maybe will surprise the other. Nicov will have 4 units here in a second. The late barracks means that this is very delayed for running. But the surprise is a factor for both, I guess.
Yeah, and the gold is so close to your TC, the men-at-arms can't really hit it. They have to go to that wood line, and running, he's seen that scout there for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't wall.
I think this is the downside. This is the downside of trying to be sneaky yourself, is you just don't have the scouting you need. It puts more pressure on him to get damage, and Nicov will just move right up to the shorefish as well. So wherever those shorefish are, they need to be walled up. Nicov, he's just towering because he's expecting man-at-arms as well here, T-West. He doesn't know the barracks is there, but it's the right play just to tower because he hasn't seen any army. And that tower might end up saving him here. We'll see.
Yeah, the tower should be able to spot the barracks, and it does.
That's wild. And a tower walls from running as well.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of towers on the shorefish against those initial men-at-arms. It's kind of still leaving you open, but if you can fight the men-at-arms outside of the tower and get the tower fire, then you can kill them.
Yep, and running will see the tower. He sees the walls. It's unfortunate his barracks was so close, to be honest. I think had it been further away, it would have been beneficial. It'll see the range from Nicov. He's looping around with the man-at-arms. But Nicov, I think, is fairly safe. And running does not have a wood line right now. He's losing his lumber camp. No archery range for him is going to be a problem.
Yeah, he's just taking the straggler trees. At least your TC defends a lot of your base here. But that's what the very early Drush can do. It can get in before you're able to make walls. And running's trying to dive the TC. Don't know if you'll be able to do much damage there, but he's in.
That's some crazy quick walling from Nicov right there. He got the initial walls, so he could dish some damage out on the man-at-arms. And then he also was getting the quick walls behind in case they got through. And now he's got 2 archers there, and those man-at-arms are pretty much a waste. And meanwhile, running still doesn't have a wood line, and we have a very, very dominant first game and quick first game from Nicov. That's what he could do.
Well, Nikov's saying, I know T90 has a flight he needs to catch. Let's make sure we don't drag this out too long. We'll get a quick win in game 1.
Yeah. I'm a little grateful for that, not gonna lie, because the next 2 games could be very long and I don't want to miss them. But yeah, that is an example of running, trying to do something completely out of the box to beat a player he thinks is better than him. And it just failed miserably. Right? It just failed miserably. There's no other way to say it. We can move on. Just such a big lead for Nicov. He would trap the army. He would kill the Vills. He's Chinese. It's pretty over.
Yeah, not much to say about that. It's one of those things, I've seen Valessa play so many games where automatically, whenever he even gets the faintest scent of a Drush, everything in his base is small walled. And I feel like when you're only worried about the lumber camp and you're going forward without scouting, you have to do that if you're running. You have to be prepared for men-at-arms coming if you're not scouting with small walls. And if he's walled there, that's a completely different game because he won't lose the vills and he'll still have wood.
Yes. Now, we will see Chinese again on that map at some point. It might not be next week. It might be the week after or the week after that. This is the first time we've seen it, and this is the first time that people are now aware how good the build can be with man-at-arms. If that is any other Civ TOS, if that was Dravidians or Armenians, all these other Civs we've seen, where they have bonuses for the man-at-arm opening, running would pre-wall there. But he just didn't know. He didn't expect it. So it was kind of a double whammy. A, you have Chinese, and the build's really good, and your eco bonuses are there. But then your opponent just doesn't expect your build. So I am shocked that nicov has gone for the Civ that he has gone for here. I fully expected him to pick Georgians on his home map, which is Seychelles. But he's actually going to go Georgians on Coast Arena, which is Running's home map. So buckle up, folks.
Well, I think this makes sense from the standpoint of how we were talking earlier. We feel like Running maybe isn't at the same level as the rest of the players in the group, but can maybe get some wins on the closed maps. You might see players picking their number one Civ for the closed maps to try to have the best shot at him on his home maps, and then be confident in themselves on the other maps.
I think it's going to be Transport. I really do. Because, like, I'm really going through the possibilities in my head on how this would play. Georgians don't compete very well on water. Georgians, they're good on an open land map, but a closed land map, you can't compete with the Malay because the Malay will eventually surpass you in vills. So there was one other game. It was Mihai against Dark. Did you cast that set?
Mihai Dark. I don't think I did.
Okay, so it was Italians against Turks or something, and he transported. He went man-at-arms, archers on the opponent's side.
Yes,
he transported them.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw Daniel play this map. He also tried to transport.
I did watch that one, and it looked horrible.
that didn't work out.
Yeah, I was watching your cast of that. Thanks, by the way, for all the coverage you've given TTL. It's been amazing. So it really is appreciated that I can, if I'm not casting, I can watch all the other leagues and all the other sets. It's been amazing.
It's nice that there's so much stuff to cast, too.
Yeah, there's something all the time. So I've been happy with it so far. Here we are, Coast Arena. This game has given us nothing but bangers. You have the water on the outside. You've got the walls and the arena style with stone and gold in the inside. You could tower rush. You could castle drop. You could play water. You could play land. There's lots of options here. But to start, the water is one of the big reasons you would see the Malay picked. And I'm just wondering, like, because I saw the Malay before, and they just boomed, they won water, and then they just beat every other Civ to the Imperial Age. So Georgian bonuses are not great here unless it's messy. So my prediction, I could be completely wrong, is nicov will actually try a transport ship. And if he were to do that and go to the left side, that is a very long journey.
That is. He'll need to scout.
A very long journey.
He'll need to scout where he is. But, I mean, it's pretty easy to do that, right? It's arena. You just go forward with the scout and you see immediately. Like I don't think he goes to the left side. I mean, unless he wants to be sneaky, right? If he wants to be sneaky, he could transport on the left side.
Well, the key here is he needs to scout the walls, I guess. I've seen a bunch of gens. I guess it's possible. It's kind of off-centered, but that's a little uncommon. So now he sees the walls. I think with his dock being on the right side, if he were to transport, he would probably get there even faster, if anything.
Yeah, this is about as close as they can be on this map. So there's an angle they can be between, and this is about as small as that can be right now.
How much fun did you have scripting this map? Because we had a lot of requests. We had a lot of very particular requests, like the gold and the stone being fixed on the forward walls has to be right. And then the golden stone in the middle, the relics, the water, the oysters.
I've been thinking of making a video about this, but I think it might be like a horror video for programmers because this is very, very hacky. the RMS language is very limited, and I essentially had to have some code that sometimes is a comment and sometimes isn't in the map script. And if there's a programmer in T90's chat, I'm sure that you are having nightmares right now. But yeah, we have the diagonal gates. Those were several days of experimenting until I could get them consistently.
You experimented several days with diagonal gates?
Yes. I wanted to make sure they were, because in the original map we had, and also this is a lovely script originally by the Mad Catter, but sometimes players would have one gate, sometimes they'd have two gates, and sometimes they had three. And I looked at that and I thought, I'm going to get so many complaints from players because they don't have a gate, or they couldn't get out of their base, or they got trapped. I need to make sure they have the same number. And the only way I could do that consistently was if I used the diagonal gates, but the game doesn't place them by default. You have to do a lot of manual and hacky stuff to get them to line up in exactly the right tiles. Mm-hmm. And also, you have to make sure that you can't just place them in the wall. Like, you see how they're kind of like one tile forward with that wall behind them? If I just place them straight in the wall, like the normal gates, then you could tower hop over them.
Yep.
And I was sure we'd see someone not be aware of that, and then get tower hopped in their base.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't code. I just talk and play. But I have very specific balance requests. I have no clue. You guys don't realize I have zero clue on how you could actually make a script work properly. But I am very opinionated. T-West will attest to this on like the balance of it. You try and think about the flow of the game and how it will work out competitively. So you're incredible. I appreciate you. And I am, as we've been talking, I'm still so confused. nicov deleted part of his wall. He walked over towards the outside seawall, which I don't know how strong this is against land units. I guess it actually has no melee armor, so maybe it's super weak. And it almost looks like nicov is gonna like...
He's gonna go forward.
Attack it. Is he gonna attack it with like a Vil?
I've seen forward docks on this map before.
Hear me out though. What if you attacked the seawall that's in the area where you can't build? There would be no way they can quick wall behind it, right?
Yeah, and also I think nicov, I've seen players delete walls to go for forward docks. I think you need to delete the wall that's on the beach, because then you can re-wall if you have to. I think nicov deleted on the shallows, where I guess he could do a dock there later.
Yeah,
but he can't re-wall that.
Well, he's just deleting some of his seawalls anyways. All right, so nicov's not doing anything too fancy. He is just going to try and play water. In which case, I think the melee, if they match it and do the same builds, will be more than fine. Melee advance faster to the next stage. Long term, that guarantees them a Vil lead. And it's going to be galleys from running. And nicov will be right behind him to feudal. We'll see what nicov chooses to do. I would assume it's also going to be galleys, but it could be fire ships because he went forward dock.
Yeah, the Georgians are a civ we see more on hybrid maps, not as much on pure water maps, where we might expect the melee to be played. So I wonder how heavily nicov is going to commit to the docks and the galleys. Because he's on a third dock now, and that feels like this is a very heavy commitment to water, and trying to play the map more like a water map rather than an arena map.
Well, nikov's micro is insane, and he's one of the best micro players in the game. Where things slip for nicov is the transitions on adding farms and adding economy and getting upgrades. So I think once he determines that running's doing the same thing as him, in many ways he's going to be comfortable. But it is just exactly where I think running would want to be, is the melee. So no complaints from his side. And the galleys are going to meet each other near the docks right now.
And running, will he see that forward dock? He's a tile off and he sees it, so he knows the dock's forward.
Yep. Yeah, nicov, that's all nicov needs. He sees you run into a volley that I didn't. I'm going to go get that galley before you can get back and repair it. Running, though, able to get some dodges, and now nicov regretting this. That's really nice work from running. And now nikov's going to be even more aggressive against the galley. And he's misclicking. He's clicking the other one, and he gets it. Yeah,
they were stacked on top of each other. You see nicov wanted all of his arrows to hit one galley, but they were so close he couldn't avoid clicking that front one.
Yep. Remember, the berries, are they always in the back? Like near the shoreline?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, the berries in the shoreline. Yeah, that was one of your requests to put the gold and the stone in the front, and because of that, the only room for the berries was in the back. But it is kind of interesting that you can deny the berries consistently if you win the water.
Well, that's what I'm thinking is if Nicov were to lose water, which I don't think he will, that's really bad for the time being to lose out on the berries too. But we're still a long way from that. Fletching is on the way for Nicov. Running doesn't have that coming in yet. And once Nicov has it, again, I just expect him to just use every advantage he can with the micro. He's so confident against a player like Running, who typically wants to rely on the defensive walls and more macro-oriented play. So he wants the fights. And actually, the villagers won't have loom. So he could harass the woodline here if he gets through there.
Ooh, and he broke through the wall. And as you were saying, this is on the shallow, so Running won't be able to re-wall there. So if Nicov... I don't know how much of that woodline he can hit now, but if he stays forward, when you get up to the castle age, you do War Galley and Bodkin, and you get more range, then you really can push the vills off of that woodline. Because the woodlines aren't actually that thick on this map. You are pretty close to the coastline wherever you're chopping wood, unless you go from the middle.
Tiny detail here, Nicov has had quite a few villagers on the shore fish around some of these docks, which I think will drop off in efficiency now, but he's had that, and he's had one more fishing ship. So maybe with food income, it's been slightly better, but Running is usually pretty accustomed to just using the market here. I think he'll just sell off any resources later on if he's worried, but I am seeing more ships for Nicov. Running has ships over-queued a little bit, which just tells me he's not able to balance his resources as perfectly as Nicov, and Nikov's got 400 food already dropping the market, so not a civ you'd expect to be played on this map, or at least that's what I didn't expect. But Nicov is making it work really well.
Yeah, and with the market, he's probably going to sell stone and try to go up. Running is farther away in resources, but he is still in the way.
Dude, Nicov, you can see how confident he is, right? Like, his micro is just unreal, and he gets good engagements, and I think he's just won water.
And it
Running's
is winning that
forced
hard.
to take the fight. But, yeah, this is just not looking good for Running. Nicov will have more follow-up army. Nicov could be in Castle Age faster. This could be another quick one here, and it is.
Another quick one. And that's
Wow.
Nikov's experience in the galley micro. I know he's been playing this since back on Voobly, and he's going to be very comfortable seeing he has a small advantage, but they're just pouncing once he gets 1 or 2 extra galleys, and feeling that Running didn't have anywhere to run. His fishing ships were there, and he didn't want to lose them.
I mean, you can lose water if you're doing a different build, right? If you're doing a different build, you can lose water because you're building up towards a different economy or a different strategy. But if you're doing the exact same build, you could not lose water this quickly. That is just, quite honestly, a skill difference. Nicov just so quick to the numbers and so good with the micro. And even if the water was still even, like, Nikov's resources are balanced out so well here. I mean, still Running, the same thing applies. It's going to be tough for him to stay alive. He is who I consider to be maybe 6th in the group in terms of skill. If he can still snag a win, the pain from the first 2 games goes away. The last game still matters.
It does, but the last map's also going to be water, because that's going to be Seychelles.
Yeah. But it's not water where you should see quite as much early pressure on water, but it could be considered a lot more multitasking, which Nikov's going to love. But for me, and I say this all the time, there's like for players, there's a food chain, right? And certain players, if they have not been beaten by a player, they will look at that and they will be like, all right, easy wins, or like, I'm going to win. And you could tell that is what it is right now with Nicov. And with Running, it's the flip side of it too. Like, Running is probably like, oh, okay, I got to do something crazy game 1 to have a chance. Went horrible. And then here, it's like, you went for the same exact build order, and the game was very fast. Like, hopefully he could mentally keep it together right now.
Yeah, and that's going to be the mental state for Running probably throughout this entire group. Because I think it's going to be that same position where the other player will be the favorite, and he's trying to get wins. And if you play something crazy like in game 1, it doesn't work. You play the same mirrored matchup and it still doesn't work. Now, what do you do for game 3?
Yeah. Well, game 3, it's a very even matchup. There will be a lot of different aspects. This is actually one of the prettiest maps I think I've seen in competitive AoE2 in a long time. I don't know who created it. Shout out to the creator of Seychelles.
This was Death Counter.
Death Counter, cool. Yeah, it's a really fun concept. We'll have a lot to talk about there, but yeah, I all the players who played today were asked if they could possibly move their time up so I could cast the set. The admins did not ask them to make it this fast, to be clear. This is not running and nicov doing me a favor. This is just nicov being a beast. And here we are. Yeah, here's Seychelles, which, again, is a beautiful map. You start with the transport on the outside, which you can use as a scout. You start on a big island that is connected on 2 separate sides via land to the other side. Players can go for water in the middle. Players can go for water on the outer ring. And if this goes late T-West, there's actually a lot of transporting that's needed because that wood, the stone, and the gold on these islands on the outside can become really valuable.
Yes, absolutely. And we've seen water sieves played here. And if you go super late game, then cannon galleons start ranging the inside of the main part of the land. And players who go for castle drops can start losing their castles to cannons. Or maybe even if we, not in this matchup, but we've seen Dromans and Lutrons, which can also be useful. And those civs, there are differences between like the Persians, which I've seen played on this map, but aren't a good late game water civ. And these 2 civs here, Italians and Vikings, who both might not go for the forward on land and might prefer to play water.
Yeah, you have, what I like about the Italians is you have a very versatile tech tree. So you could go scouts, archers, knights, condos later. Like there's a lot of things that you can do. Even gunpowder, like bombard cannons too. So certain players, I would expect them to open with land if they can. Here's nicov. Is nicov going to lame? Or is he just going to take the sheep? Okay. But this was Nikov's map, and he picked Vikings, which is typically less dimensional than, or you know, just less flexible. I can't speak than the Italian. So, but I know Nicov. I've seen him play this before with other civs. And he loves to play the land and then take the water in Castle Age. And I think that's perfect for the Vikings because you can't play galleys in feudal without super committing to them and not doing anything else. And there also might not be as much payoff on the galleys too. But if you get to longboats just completely wreck everything. So I'd like to see maybe scouts or archers. And then later on, Nicov might make the longboats.
Yeah, and here we have running. Looks like he's going to dock the middle. And in the feudal age, Vikings, at least in this patch until, next little over a week, we have the new DLC. They have demos, but they lack fires. So Nicov won't be able to do feudal age fires in the middle.
Oh, man. Running just lost a villager to a rhino. Oh, no. I mean, already a really rough start. Maybe he's lacking confidence. Maybe he's tired.
And shoot.
Yeah, that's brutal. And yeah, it has happened in Platinum League. It happened to MBL. But it shouldn't happen because you could just shoot the rhinos with the TC now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know if you saw Deduzu try to play Zimbabwe, but he used the house foundation to de-aggro a rhino and then tried to delete the foundation and deleted his vill.
I did not see that. When was that?
Oh, that was, I think, his first round set. I forget who he was playing, but he had a beautiful opening, did everything right, stopped some rhino lures from his opponent, and then deleted his villager.
Oh, God. Well, I don't have safe delete on, and one time I deleted my town center, so that's a little bit worse than deleting the vill.
I've done that
that's
too.
Funny. Well, running will know he lost the villager. Running will also know just how much pressure that is. Running knows there's viewers watching right now, and there are people right now who are rooting for him, who are frowning in the chat. It may be disappointing. That's a lot of pressure on a player. And that can snowball on you so hard in this game. I just really hope for running he doesn't run to the north right now with his scout. Because the town center is right there from Nicov. And he doesn't. Nicov docked the outside. So he's fishing there. Nicov knows that running has docked to the middle. But it's tough to, if you haven't already docked to the middle, to compete with the civ that gets fire ships. Because one dock galleys would always lose to one dock fire ships. So... And then, do you really want to commit to an extra 2 docks? Probably not. The middle water might be secure for running for a while.
Yeah, at least until the Castle Age, Nicov could go 2 or 3 docks longboats in the Castle Age, and then you pretty much win against everything if you had a couple demos to deal with the fires. But as far as the Feudal Age is concerned, running can do whatever he wants. He can take the fish, and he can take the oysters, too. This was another one of your requests to add the oysters to the middle for a bit of gold.
The thing is, he's lacking so much intel as well. He's bringing a villager to the back of Nikov's base in the transport. He doesn't know where Nicov is docked, though. He doesn't know that Nicov is building a forward barracks at his base. This could be all like that other game all over again, where Nicov just surprises him with man-at-arms.
Well, Nicov could be surprised, too, with this Vil in the back on that transport. They might both be surprised.
He wants to dock Nikov's dock so he could flood fires onto the fish, but he doesn't know where the dock is yet, so he's waiting for it. He's looking for it. And all right, he will find it. Yeah. So that's the strategy. It's a good strat. It's just a little late, but Nicov won't know about that. Nicov has his barracks. Running won't know about that. Running is going to tower now. Interesting. So I wonder if running just assumes now that with the back dock that Nicov would go man-at-arms. I actually like that tower. I know you really want gold income, but if you have the oysters in the middle for the gold, and as long as you protect the wood line, it's not the worst tower in the world.
Yeah, that's been his plan. He's been taking the oyster for gold, so he hasn't needed a mining camp. He saved a bit of wood not needing that. And that tower now protects his entire eco. Every single Vil he has is taking wood from that wood line. That is literally everything.
Oh my god, though. Nicov... This is a strategy I used to see on islands. Nicov, expecting fire galleys at some point, he doesn't know from where. He's forward docking with his fish. So he's going to hide his fish down there, which is really interesting. Especially because, I mean, there's fires coming here from running, so it's the perfect counter to whatever running is going to try if he wants the fishing kills.
Yeah, and especially knowing that you're the Vikings. And the forward dock to try to get fires on the Viking dock in Feudal is a strat I've seen quite a bit because you won't have those counter fires. If you can run the fish all the way down there, which he has, oh, that's wonderful. He'll keep all the fish safe, and running will be looking around like, what's going on? I built this dock for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You're never going to look that far. You're going to look to the left, you're going to look to the right, but you're never going to look that far unless the meta develops and then people expect it. So maybe this is more known because of practice sessions and whatnot. Running is badly housed. He lost a couple houses to these man-at-arms. He's definitely under pressure, but he's also adding a lot of economy in the middle. So that's completely unprotected, but it is also safe because Nicov has chosen to play land. And Nicov is behind this double mill. Mill on the shorefish, mill on the berries there, and a couple farms. So his food eco is at least very strong.
Yep, double mill. He doesn't have any of the eco upgrades, though, as you might expect from Nicov. But at least he gets that free wheelbarrow as the Vikings. So that'll be good for the farms.
Hey, running found this. That's a sick find from running. I don't know if he's paying attention to that right now, but he does find the fish. Right now, unfortunately, the fire is just dishing out damage into the dock and not hitting the fishing ships. I think Nikov's plan is exactly what I said. His plan is to win water and castle. If he can click up the castle, we will definitely see docks, and I think the middle area becomes very vulnerable for running. So running needs to get some counter damage on land, force Nicov to do something other than just man-at-arms. It's been literally 3 man-at-arms for Nicov and all eco, nothing else.
Yeah. And at least now running, finding those fish might slightly affect Nikov's Castle Age timing, but I think it's too late as he has just about 800 food, and running is nowhere close to clicking up himself, even with all those fishing ships.
And Nicov is just going to sail away with his other 2 fishing ships and go back to his initial dock. Because running doesn't have a fire there. Maybe he will, though. But
yeah, the map is so large, you can get away with that.
Yeah. I think if Nicov goes double dock in the middle, running is going to have a really tough time. Running needs those man-at-arms to get to Nikov's base very quickly. He'll have to clear this first. He is fletching on the archers. It's good micro. But clock is ticking, and there's one dock from Nicov. I would expect a second in the middle, and there's no Navy to protect that fishing eco for running.
And he should be expecting this, right? He should be expecting Vikings to want to go longboats. If you've seen the Civ play enough water maps, you're used to it. You're used to that. I don't know how many water maps running actually plays. As we said, he is more of the clown type of player. But no surprise here for what Nikov's doing.
And it's clear as well, he's going high risk, high reward, right? Like 13 fishing ships is crazy. Normally you see 7 to 8, and then you see a couple fires. But I think based on how the series has gone today, he's taking some risks. I mean, he could click up to Castle Age soon, but losing 14 economy is just going to be so bad for him. He doesn't have any farms. He didn't get the second mill like Nicov did, and he doesn't even know about it. Like, he can't even make fires because he doesn't even know about it.
And usually if you're in a situation like this, you might add in one galley just to patrol the coastline, shoot any dock vills, and at least force Nicov to send 2 or 3 vills to force a dock up. Here he has no idea what's going on. I mean, maybe the only good thing is he's taken most of the fish already, and the fishing ships are tasking themselves to the shorefish now.
Nicov is so locked in, though. He has all the walls he needs at home. He has skirms waiting because he knows those archers are going to get to him eventually. So the walls are up almost perfectly. Skirms in the amount that he needs. Docks on the outside in the amount that he needs. Running is coming to protect the middle now. He wants to place another dock, but the first longboat is already here. He's 2 minutes away from Castle Age, T-West. This is bad. And the water on the outside as well is going to be full longboat spam from Nicov. So he will also potentially have the outside water.
And he might even kill that forward Vil by the outside dock. I don't think Running's paying attention. Okay, he does get away.
Scout there too. But the dock in the middle is what I'm looking at. Nicov brings in the scout as well to contribute. He's paying such close attention. He immediately moves off of his wood line and will bring the skirms over. Nicov just feels like he's twice as fast right now. He does actually need the numbers of the longboats in one area. If you try and split up too much, it could be dangerous.
Yeah, but this is one dock production, though, in the middle. I think he only needs 2 longboats, maybe a third. Yeah. But he'll destroy all the fish. Against someone who's still feudal, they can't make fire galleys fast enough.
Yep, that's a good point. And Nicov doesn't have the same fishing eco, though. He's just got the wheelbarrow and handcart now of the Vikings with his land economy to carry him. He needs to snipe the fishing ships. And he's finding the fishing ship kills, and he will take down the fire galley. And I think the middle is completely lost for Running. This is brutal. And he's going to try and upgrade his archers on the outside, too.
And the skirms are there.
Finds them right before the upgrades, too.
At least he doesn't kill anything, but yeah, that's exactly the timing Nicov wanting, and everything has gone wrong for Running this game. Nikov's reacted perfectly to everything Running was doing.
Yeah, but if Running got a lot of food. Running has crossbow now. Nicov doesn't have elite skirm, so these skirms are gonna die. If Running goes for a siege push, I'm seeing the second TC now. He could maybe drop the third, maybe get some relics, maybe add some farms. It could be okay. The Eco KD is never going to look good, but Res Collected is still somewhat close. And Nicov, it's not like he has a lot of fishing ships himself. So, let's see if Running can get something together here. I'm very glad he didn't call it, because the score, both in the game and also in the series, could make someone get very dejected here. But you have to try.
Yeah, and some of that score, I'm sure Running knows, is going to be the longboats that are still alive in the middle, and all the resources added to the score from destroying the fishing ships. So it's not necessarily saying Nikov's eco is super far ahead right now. It's just saying he has more longboats that right now won't contribute to the fight if he's forwarded with a double workshop on land with mangonels.
Yeah, and that town center is a huge target too. Nicov doesn't know anything about that. He thinks it's just the crossbows. This is some big commitment from Running. And he could eliminate that town center. He can cut off this whole side of the base. Nicov could get pretty panicky at times. This is now the time for Running. Maybe start to sneak in a couple more farms at home, get to stone, think about a third town center. I wouldn't hate a monastery here. because redemption is something the Italians can get for their monks as well.
Yeah, and a monk push is not something the Vikings like stopping. The Viking monks themselves, no redemption, no sanctity even. So mangonels, if you send a couple monks forward, the mangonels snipe off the Viking monks, and they're kind of useless here.
Yeah, but this is where multitask is really tough for the aggressor, because you don't know the siege workshop is there, and that first mangonel, if you're adding those farms at home or any transitions, can surprise you. So first mangonel is the most important for Nicov. It'll be hopping out any moment.
Oh, he has it now.
Oh, dude, he's locked in. Running is locked in. He reacted immediately.
Dodge.
He falls back. And if he continues this push, there's another town center right behind it.
Oh, this is the push Running wants, right? He's doing his best to turn this into a game of arena. Turn it into a monk and mangonel push, or even just a mangonel push where he's comfortable microing.
Nicov will take the 1-for-1, but he's getting housed right now. He's starting to float a lot of resources, and he's not exactly able to spend it. Vikings can't go for redemption, like you said. Their knights are not very good, but Nikov's dropping a stable. You don't have a ton of counterplay to heavy siege as the Vikings. But there's no monastery there, so maybe a surprise knight or two could be the play for Nicov.
Yeah, and Nikov's eco was set up for 3 TCs, which requires a lot of food. It's hard to suddenly get mangonels out when you were planning on booming, and need to make that swap to the workshop and then swap back to food for knights.
Nikov's housed again. He's losing these houses so quickly. If you can't out-micro Nicov, you just have to outproduce him, says Running. And there he goes. Nikov's still permanently housed.
He's losing more houses. He's losing the hut. He's losing everything.
Yeah. I mean, look at his wood and his gold count right now. Look at his wood lines. Like, this is where the pressure starts to add up. And eventually, the Vikings are just way more awkward than the Italians on land. This would be a huge win for Running. Based on how the first 2 games went, Nicov would also consider this a drop of points, which he will not want to accept. I think everyone else in the group would love for Running to get this win as well if they're going to be competing with these 2.
They absolutely would.
Okay, this is where the food eco for Running completely drops off. He is 3 on food because he has no farms.
He doesn't
but he
need
has
food.
To micro here.
He doesn't need food. He needs mangonels and monks.
This is crazy micro. This is insane. Oh, Nicov with the moves. Nicov with the great moves. Oh my
gets 2
goodness,
mangonels.
what was that?
That's exactly what he needed.
There.
He has a monk now healing.
You might need to wait until you have a couple more knights then if you're Nicov. I see Lycav. Nicov still is the villager lead. He just needs to take care of the mangonels. The micro from Running, that's a big attack round.
Oh, Nicov gets both repair vills, so there are no more vills here for Running to repair.
Oh, good detail. This is a very hard game to cast with 2 people because it's just constant action. But dude, Nikov's shots have been unbelievable. It was like 1v5 at times, and he's still getting the connects.
Sometimes I feel that when you have more mangonels, it starts to get harder to micro them because you have so much you need to click on.
That's relatable, yeah. But if you have it sectioned off like this and you have a couple of them on the TC, and then you just have 1 or 2 on the front, that's fine. Back at Running space, he's just placed some farms. Now he'll move back in. Nicov is waiting for Lycav. And Nicov knows if he can clear this once, it's game over. He gets the sweep to start off Titans League Season 5, which would be actually half the wins he had in group stage last time, even though he went into the playoffs and did well. I think he's going to have enough to clear this T-West. He's just waiting a little bit longer. He's just waiting as long as he can, because some of the Lycav might get killed off via an attack round or something.
And that would be
so
a big attack
mangonels.
round. That's 7-8 mangonels for Running against 3.
This is ridiculous. I don't know if I've ever seen so many mangonels on screen before, and I've watched a lot of long games.
Okay, but here comes the Lycav. Here comes the Lycav. He needs an attack round. Nikov's splitting. And Mangonel's
Running killed his own
mangonel.
He killed his own mangonel. The monk is going to go down. And then the knights can come in to finish it. Oh, it all falls apart for Running. The conversions were never going to be enough. And Nicov will clear it up, and Nicov gets the sweep. The most created unit there. for running. He made
18
mangonels.
18 mangonels. Oh, and the bad thing is he lost most of them. Imagine having like 12 mangonels at once.
Yep.
Attacking the TC. Credit to nicov in the mangonel micro there. He kept everything. It felt like every shot he wanted, he landed, and he wasn't losing his mangonels in the process.
It's hard to be patient there. You can overextend once. I think a lot of people would send in the first night, and then you lose the night, and then suddenly you don't have a monk, and then that's a problem. Like, nicov, his town center received, where's the stat here? 10,000 damage. 10k damage, and he just kept repairing it, and he just kept holding, and he kept being patient. That is really good. I will also add, I know the result is not good for running, but I really like the fight in the last game. That's what he needed to try. That was the way to win the game, but nicov is just too good.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of sets in the Silver League where a player resigned after 1 to 3 minutes because they did something wrong with a Vil and a Borlor. But running, even after losing the Vil, he kept on fighting. He never stopped, never stopped or gave up early that set.
Yeah, I think him losing the sheep, I think the Dark Age and Feudal Age wasn't so clean. Obviously, losing all the fish wasn't good, but nicov had some cool strats here. He made it into the type of game the Vikings want. Get to Castle Age, win the water with longboats. GG. Running, it's not going to get much easier, but he still has 4 more rounds. I think he can play sharper than what we saw here today. I think style-wise, it's a bad matchup because of nicov's aggression, but we'll see if he can get more wins next time. But a good start for good old nicov. So I'm gonna head off here. I got a little bit more time to actually finish packing whatnot before my flight to US. But thanks for joining up. I know it was a really short one. It was literally 45 minutes, but we'll cast more over the coming weeks.
You got your flight in time.
Yeah, it was very likely I was gonna have to leave the stream early, so I guess it worked out that we got the games in. Appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch. All right.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya.
That was a quick one. That was, I think was that even quicker? And I think, is Margougou Uzzi about to start? I think we'll go cast that, actually. So let me update my title. And Kogo, thank you for the follow. And I'm just gonna get ads out of the way before this one. Let me swap my overlay over. We'll cast Margougou Uzzi. Let's see, I have another overlay here I need to swap. There we go. How long does TTL last? It is a round robin of 5 rounds. And so each round is 1 week. And then after the week, there is a playoff. I think the playoff is 3 rounds. I forget how many weeks we're stretching that over, though. But Platinum ends, it's the middle of March when that'll be over. And so this will be Uzzi versus Margougou. Let's see if I can get my score set up well. Alright, and what group is this in? Gotta go check the spectator dashboard real quick. So yeah, someone asked earlier, I am indeed casting Margougou versus Uzzi. They are going to launch on Monocle. I failed to download match content, thanks DE. Do you have a thanks DE emote? Get your thanks DE emotes in the chat. Swap this over. Margougou is the host here. And I'll get the drafts. There. So the first map will again be Monocle. Uzzi picked Coast Arena. Similar map pool, only slopes instead of Seychelles to the last set. And again, the Chinese for Margougou is the first pick. I wonder if he'll use them for Monocle 2. Actually, he does. So Margougou may be watching the previous set, liking the build, and will pick up the Chinese. Let's see, this map will be Monocle. And what group is this? This is group... Oh, group C2. Lovely. And I'll just update my YouTube title. I wish I had fewer buttons to click while streaming. And open up Capture Age. As you're back from Adland. Oh, I'm sorry, you had to visit Adland. Alright, and I think we are good. Is Margougou on a team, actually? Wait, let me double check this. Does Margougou have a team? Not from what I can tell. Alright, Margougou doesn't have a team. I put a little M dash there to indicate no team. I figured that was better than leaving the space blank. Monocles are pretty cool. I feel like I need one. I feel like my left eyesight isn't as good as my right eyesight. Maybe I should get a monocle. And thank you, Benny, for the follow. And also, Schnabeltier for the follow earlier. And Medine, Kogo, everyone who followed during the last cast too. And... Right, we are good now. So we have Uzzi playing as the Red Romans to the southwest. Margougou as the Blue Chinese to the east. And the Romans, the civ I expect to see on this map. The Chinese, well, we just saw nicov dominate with them. Maybe Margougou will do the same. I should probably get an optician to check first. That would be a good idea. I should go to an optician soon. I can tell from all the casting I've been doing over the years that my eyesight and ability to see AoE 2 has diminished over the past 5 years or so. And Black Sheep, thank you for the follow. How many subs for a Tuxedo Monocle Top Hat stream? Enough subs that it would at least pay to get the monocle and a top hat and a new tuxedo. Probably like 2K, that sounds good. And boars are very close to your TC here. I doubt that they're going to be lamed that readily. But Uzzi was close. And same thing we saw without the early mill that nicov did. Margougou doing the same. And he might open with a barracks rather than with a mill. And do the mill just a bit later. Do I mean being able to focus at multiple things at once? No, just like reading text on my second monitor. I've had to make the text larger to still be comfortable reading it. Stuff like that. Focusing on multiple things at once is like playing AoE 2. The more you have your build order, just it's kind of muscle memory after a while, so you don't need to think about that, and you free up your thinking time to work on other things. It's the same thing, reading chat and streaming, watching the game. Once you get used to it, at first it's like you're moving wall of text you gotta read, and a game you gotta watch, and you're jumping all over, trying not to miss anything, but then over time you get used to it. And it frees up more time for thinking, just like in AoE 2. And yeah, barracks, lumber camp, same exact build we saw from nicov. And what helps this is how close the golds are to your starting TC. And the fact that you can long distance mine gold pretty reliably on this map. And there is Loom on the way for Uzzi. Thanks again for covering gold. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for helping to snowball the viewer numbers. And oh, what is this deer push? Margougou going all the way to the outside to push in deer. And he'll even do the mining camp before the mill. And time to pretend. Thank you for the follow. Are we gonna get a raid? And Margougou will get that deer almost into the TC. I'll see. This is interesting. He's going for a super long deer push. Remember, stay humble. Yeah, stay humble. That was not an humble deer lore. So, men-at-arms this time from home from Uzzi. And Margougou going for his own men-at-arms. He's doing a mill out on the shorefish, on the box turtles. Oh, actually, you are reminding me to swap my logo from platinum to gold. That you would say are too good for gold, but not good enough for platinum? Maybe doubt these days. There are players like maybe running fits that category where he's kind of in that 6th player slot for platinum, and that's not to say he's like not good enough for platinum, but that it's going to be hard when he gets there to maintain a spot in platinum. Rowan or Chinese, better eco. If you have a clean build for the Chinese, I'll still go with the Chinese. But the Romans are picked for the shorefish because they actually gather from the shorefish more quickly. They're the only civ that actually gathers more quickly these days at 5% faster. And thank you, Mekinba, for the follow. Hello, Arbase. How you doing, Arbase? Yeah, another Chinese pick. Exactly the same thing that nicov did. Lumber camp and barracks, and delaying the mill until after clicking up. And Uzzi here. You can see the big rocks on the map. That's where we didn't want players doing TCs up here, and there were a couple of open 4x4 areas. I just detected them and filled them with big rocks. So this rock here for Uzzi is just, you can't TC here, can't castle there. Rocks blocking the spot. And Joy Enjoyer. That's a good thing to enjoy, and I like the repetition of joy in that name. Welcome to the stream. That's part of the reason for the revamp of TTL, that before it would actually be better to be #1 in gold. I don't think it would be, but I think that you might have some players who ping pong between gold and platinum, or silver and gold. And here's the man-at-arms fight as the tower goes up for Margougou. Again, a tower defending the fish, but since the fight's under the tower, he should be okay. He still gets cleaned up. I think Uzzi committed a bit more to the men-at-arms and wants to continue committing to more men-at-arms as Margougou will make the swap to archers. But being under the tower. And thank you, T90, for the raid. Welcome, everyone. He's raiding with a party of 2013. That feels like a year. Thank you for the raid. And we have Margougou, who... I don't know if Margougou was in the chat for the last set. Maybe he was watching nicov. But he just picked Chinese on Monocle for game 1. Was here before it was cool. 2013 was when the HD edition was released. Oh my gosh. I think are we farther from HD than HD was from AOC? We're getting close to that point. 2013. That was the rise of Viper, right? That was the start of the Viper dynasty. It was 2012 he lost to Tim in the Arabia tournament. 2013 Viper came to form. Hello, Ducks. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for the follows. Thank you very much. And this here is a Gold League. Gold League, Margougou, Uzzi. And Margougou is an interesting fella because he hasn't really been playing AoE2 all that much recently. So I don't know what shape he's in. He did win against Ganji, but Ganji's another player who hasn't really been playing that much recently. Just woke up and you've been transported into a new place. It's like you got on a siege tower and jumped off the other side of a wall. The best 21 between Viper and Jordan is a true classic. The best of 21 I remember is Doubt versus Chris. That was the first Age of Empires I ever watched, the Doubt versus Chris best of 21. Now we look at Viper Jordan and say they're a classic. That makes me feel old. Are Siege Towers banned? Nope, Siege Towers are banned. I just nerfed them in the map scripts. They have less carry capacity and a bit less HP. And since they get more speed for every infantry unit that's garrisoned, we basically decreased their max speed from the same as a knight to the same as a longsword. Before it was just about as fast as a knight without husbandry. Now they are basically the same speed as a longsword with squires when they're fully garrisoned with infantry. So full commitment to men-at-arms from Uzzi, who's also pushing forward with some skirms. Margougou, double range archers, and no skirms in sight for him. Full commitment to archers. And if there's no armor for the skirms from Uzzi, Margougou still might be able to take a fight. I'll use the TC to protect the archers for now. I feel like the sweet spot is 6 garrison, not 5. Why do you like 6 garrison more? Chris literally wrote the book on AoE. That's how I learned AoE, by reading Chris's book. So Margougou will hold for now, but the larger and growing number of skirms could threaten the archers in a bit. And he still is committing 11 archers, no skirms. And he's committing straight to the Castle Age. And we'll see if he tries to throw down an extra barracks and maybe go Fire Lancers against all the skirms. But that could be a risk. And no, instead he's going for a stable. So stable will probably be knights, gives him a better option against longsword plus skirms combined. Uzzi committing so heavily to the men-at-arms, he will be spending food and stuck in feudal for a while. And Margougou will use the TC as a shield, start taking the back gold. So mining camp on both golds and still a tower out by the shorefish. He'll delete a house in the back so his archers can get out to the top of the hill. Where are they pathing? Where are those archers going? He's going to go forward with the archers, actually. Okay, well, Uzzi is mostly walled here. I don't think he'll be able to do too much damage. And he's deciding, nope, I'm going to turn around. And he should have done what he originally wanted to do by going up on the hill, because now Uzzi is in on the villagers with the men-at-arms and with the skirms. And everything here has to run to the tower. There won't be enough garrison space. And that's going to be a few dead vills. Margougou made the right decision, then second-guessed himself, and ended up with the wrong decision. And all the men-at-arms going down. The least humble villagers are not allowed to garrison there. Yasser has the name of Chris's book if you want to check it out. It should still be on Amazon. I think it's only in ebook form. I don't know if there was ever a print copy. It has some great ASCII art diagrams of how to position your lumber camps efficiently on wood lines. So market from Margougou. Market after reaching Castle Age. That's interesting, because if you're going for the market, that's 175 wood versus the 200 wood you spend on a university if you're then saving up for ballistics. And now that he has the market, he doesn't even have really res to spend to rebalance the eco. He can keep going around for more shorefish as the archers loop around the back. And looks like Uzzi, seeing the archers coming from this side, will go to the right and actually go closer to Margougou for the next mill. There's a ton of vills out there. I think 24 vills might be a few too many for one mill. He's trying to get them spread out. One crossbow from Margougou will hit behind the woodline. He'll try to split his army up and bring a knight over. Uzzi still will want to wait until Castle Age, and Margougou, hoping to catch him out here on the outside, won't quite see it. Won't see anything, no TC attempted or anything out there for another minute at least for Uzzi. And it'll be another tower for him, though, buying some stone, building a tower on the next group of shorefish. And now it'll be crossbows against the Feudal Age army, and as long as Margougou pays attention, which he is. And hard to pay attention there, you can't just patrol in, otherwise you'll attack the mill. So you actually have to pay attention and right-click. But he won't run directly into the skirms, and as long as he has the crossbow and bodkin upgrades, he'll have the range advantage, and he can stay far enough away and avoid taking the direct fight for the moment. Yeah, a very necessary second tower. If that second tower wasn't there, this army would either be forced to fight against the crossbows, or the vills would have to run. Because of that tower, the vills, maybe they have to go to the backfish, but they can keep working. And ballistics on the way for Margougou. So he's after that market, using the market to buy wood and invest into ballistics. I still wonder, if he hadn't built the market in the first place, right, because he sold 200 wood, maybe he simply would have 200 wood for ballistics and wouldn't need to use the market. But definitely a tricky map to manage your eco on when you're not adding a whole bunch of farms and instead you're just taking the shorefish. Raids become pretty deadly if you have more vills on the fish instead of wood than you normally would. And now closing it on both sides with ballistics is Margougou. The vills taking some damage on the shorefish as the tower tries to drive them away. But now with 2 groups of crossbows, not enough room for Uzzi. And what's he down to now? 5 vill kills for Margougou. He's losing some crossbows to the tower. Bodkin's in now, so the crossbows lose their range advantage. At night, we'll try to pick off more vills, so 8 total kills for Margougou. And yeah, Elite Skirm will be late. It was Bodkin first. Bodkin helps the tower. And the rest of the army, now he's not patrolling, but notices in time. Notices in time. And we'll try to run away, but just now Elite Skirm comes in, and the second armor will be on the way for Uzzi. So Margougou might finally need to do something other than crossbow to fight the Skirms with all those upgrades. They're still missing ballistics, so maybe he can try to out-micro. But once the armor comes in, the Skirms will have a good advantage, and especially if they can take the hill. And Vakoda, thank you for the follow.
Salve.
Yeah, as Arbe says, you can check out the list of people casting. And I know Happy Leaves is also updating the UI, so if you have any suggestions for him, I'm sure now's a good time for it. And the knight will be attacking the skirms. Important to have a few knights mixed in, but no upgrades on the knights yet. Margougou has added a second TC, taking the gold on the outside. And now a bunch of vills will take the shorefish.
Salve.
Tibi Servio.
Oh, thank you for gifting our base a sub.
Let us give the infidel dogs of the West a sight the likes of which no son of Europe has ever seen.
Oh, thanks for gifting a sub. Yeah, I guess Arbe's sub ran out. Arbase would have had... You're saving Arbase from seeing ads if he's trying to check the map by watching the stream. Thanks, we're... Oh, and Alskar, thank you for the sub.
Defeat my champion in combat, Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, and I will give you command of my army. Let the tournament begin!
Salve.
And we're very close to 400 subs. We're at, I think, 383 sub points if OBS. Maybe it needs a second to update. But we're doing very well for subs this month. This is one of the highest we've been at before. So, oh my gosh, T90's not watching the game, but Margougou honoring him with a T90 farm, saying in Titans League, I can't put my farms adjacent to the mill in the Titans League. I gotta build it a tile away. Who cares if there are deer there? Yeah, get your T90 farm emotes in the chat. At least he's not auto-farming there. A bit of lag there. Thanks for coding new maps. I hope people enjoy them. Oh, and Jafar, thank you for the sub.
Barbarossa, I have some unfortunate news for you. You see, it is I who should be Holy Roman Emperor. Kneel before the lion.
You do enjoy the maps. I've really enjoyed the map pool this season. So we have a knight transition from Uzzi, knight plus skirm against crossbow plus knight. And I think he has enough knights to deal with these crossbows. Maybe they could pick a couple of those weak vills. Margougou's checking the HP. I think he wants to pick the vills. Yeah, and he does. Oh, is this 3 dead vills? Ooh, the crossbows missed that vill somehow. Oh, well, they got her in the end. They got her in the end. And weak vills out on the shore. Oh, another vill. Great micro from Margougou. Checking the HP of the villagers, making sure he's targeting the weak ones. And after his army had basically been defeated, still finds value with it. And he's up by 20 vills now. He's been playing great this game. I wasn't sure what shape Margougou was going to be in, but so far so good from everything I've seen from him. Any maps you'd hope we've seen more? Honestly, I think we've seen a lot of diversity in the maps. It's been great. I would always love to see more Coast Arena, as much as we have seen it so far. Quite a lot. I saw Hera uploading some YouTube videos. He seems to like it too. And rocket cart for the skirms. Margougou adding a rocket cart. Will he attack ground? Margougou? Margougou? Yes! Took him a while, but he noticed. Uzzi not paying attention. I'm trying to see. He doesn't have anything else going on the minimap he might have been looking at. Maybe placing some farms. Oh, did he go out of sync? Is that a, oh no, I didn't command my army pause? It was paused by Uzzi. Oh my gosh, he says lag, go. Well, if that was a lag pause, that was an unfortunate time for lagging. Didn't see one normal game on the map, always complete craziness when I watched. And he calls the GG. Well, I don't think he needed to lose that army for the game to be over with how far ahead Margougou was in eco, but that certainly was the straw that broke the camel's back. The straw that removed camels from the Chinese and gave them fire lancers, as Margougou will pick up a win. Lag is sentient and chooses the worst moments to spike. Maybe we're just selective in when we notice the lag. Anyway, that'll be 68 to 54 KD for Margougou, who with the Chinese did essentially the same build nicov did the last game. Wasn't as effective with the early men-at-arms, but still used their economy to pull out a great win. And remember, the Chinese have their Dark Age changed from the past. They used to have the... what was it? The... yeah, it was the normal TC. They didn't have any TC boosts for the extra pop space like they have the housing space now. And they have all the extra line of sight. So it is much smoother than back in AOC. And their technology cost was... Their discount was nerfed a bit. They don't get as big of a discount, but that's really the only change to their eco that's been a nerf. The force drop hockey helps a lot too. And having a map where your boars are close to your TC also feels like it's a good way to be consistent with your build timing. And you're not going to end up failing to scout a boar, failing to hit your timing with your sheep getting under your TC on this map. It's going to be really consistent, and that lumber camp barracks, without needing the mill to go up quickly, seems to be really strong. So let's Margougou. Alright, so that is a win for Margougou. Let me double check I have my scoreboard correct. Oop, I gave a win to Uzzi. Wait. There we go, I'll fix that. Win for Margougou. Anyway, let me double check I got the drafts right. Yeah, Margougou on the left. He will win Monocle. And then as far as civs go, that's a win for the first picked Chinese. And then a loss for the Romans. Alright, so I'm just going to do a very quick ad between the games so we don't have ads during the game. And then we'll see, will Uzzi pick Coast Arena for his next map? And looks like he will. Looks like he will. What is... Let me get caught up on YouTube chat. What is my favorite campaign in Battles of the Conquerors? Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga with the Sea of Worms. Definitely Vinland Saga. Did Margougou play the Red Bull ladder much? I don't think so. What is my favorite animal? The Arabian wolf they added recently to AoE 2. I love the Arabian wolf. I should make a wolf nothing map. Arabian wolf nothing. By far my favorite animal. So another game of Coast Arena with these beautiful diagonal gates. And I gotta love diagonal gates. And I forgot to update the map. Oh, hold on, let me update the map on the overlay. I have the map author added in here. So Coast, Arena. And let me also flip the scoreboard around so the players are on the right sides. There we go. Alright, so welcome everyone to Coast Arena. It is, as I said originally, the Mad Catters map, but we spruced it up a bit, tried to make it a bit more fair for TTL. We put the golds and the stones always on the front. Gave a consistent number of gates for all players, giving them equal access to the middle. And, well, I don't know what to expect. We've seen a variety of strats. We've seen full galley play. We've seen players ignore the water, go for castle drops, arena style. We've seen attempted transports and landings and forwards. We've seen everything. Well, I mean, we've seen a lot. We probably haven't seen everything. I haven't seen a douche yet. I want to see a Persian douche on this map. I want to see a Dark Age transport and a douche. I doubt we'll see that, but I can dream. Need elephant nothing. Community Cup will have it 100%. 100%. The Community Cup will have it. So this map makes use of the seawalls. They're on the outside. You can delete them, though, if you want to walk forward and do a forward dock. The middle will be basically arena. You'll have 5 relics split up among the players. Lots of neutral stones and golds should be split up on both sides. This is I think the largest map file of everything in TTL. So definitely the most hacky map I've ever worked on. Community Cup bingo? Now that'd be a good one. That'd be really good. What would we expect to see in Community Cup? Maybe douches on Coast Arena. Siege tower. We have seen a siege tower already on this map too. We've seen a siege tower. And Armenians from Uzzi feel like it's all going to be about fortified churches and warrior priests in the middle of the map. Margougou as the Bengalis could go for Rathas, could go for a monk rush, and they're also a good water civ. Both these civs good water civs. And I expect to see Bengalis, Armenians, Byzantines, Italians, Portuguese, all those civs that are good on the water and good for hybrid maps, but also good for the closed maps make appearances here. As the Vils hunt the boar. Given that the lowest sign-up so far is 500 elo, we need a bingo space for a negative elo sign-up. There have been players with negative elos before. Usually it's players intentionally dropping, though, but it can happen. T90's Uncle League. What is his uncle at? What's his elo at these days? I haven't been keeping up because I've had so many maps to script. Maybe T90's uncle and his brother could play some 2v2s one day. So he said he's been terrorizing the ladder. Those are some strong words. Terrorizing. So Loom from Margougou. Okay, he's doing Loom. Does that mean he'll have forward Vils at some point? Or is he maybe just thinking he'll be up kind of slowly? He wants Loom to protect the Vils. Loom also for Uzzi. Oh, okay, he is going forward. There's a deleted wall. Again, I feel like if you're going to delete your walls, you're better off deleting the walls on the beach because then you can re-wall. And another wall delete on the shallows. We'll go for a second lumber camp. Split the woods up. Somehow forward docking is the meta? It might be. I feel that forward docks are a big risk, though. If your opponent goes triple dock galleys, the forward dock becomes a weak spot, where if you initially lose the water and you have to retreat to your home docks, then the forward dock can't really produce anything anymore. Because it'll always be closer to your opponent's space where they can outproduce you. And this is another great map. I absolutely love Coast Arena. You get to see Galley Micro and Arena play. Back in AOC, when all the water play was just Galley Micro, I'd always feel so sad when I'd have to upgrade to War Galley, and then they were slow and clunky, and the micro wasn't as much fun. On this map, when you get to that point, you can then just ignore water and start playing Arena. It's like Galley Rush into Arena. Anyway, Margougou, fire galleys from him. Using the forward dock for some fire galleys. Do you think a team game version? The original map script works for team game. This one is very specifically set up to work for 1v1s and doesn't work for team games, but the original Coast Arena does work for team games, so you want to check that out. Can literally push someone off the island. Set up 3 diagonal gates for 8 players. Okay, so Uzzi going forward for the gold. Yeah, this was one of the design choices we wanted for the map, that the gold and the stone were all forward. Is the terrain around the TC non-buildable? Nope, this is buildable. It's just a different style of dirt. Originally, this was some type of greenish fungus road terrain, but players got confused by it, so I replaced it with a dirt terrain. Just a different center of the base type of visual breakup between the rest of the map. No real function to it other than adding a bit of visual flair. I think this is a really pretty map. The Mad Catter also was the author of Inundation. It's pretty similar in style to that, with the very bright, colorful textures and trees dotting the outside, and many of the azure, colorful waters mixed in too. What's the logic behind it? Originally, that was one of the hacky things that was done to get the walls spawning properly on the map, and I didn't change it. The Mad Catter has a 40-minute video where he explained how he set up the walls on this map, and then I went and did something even more hacky. And so there's no real design reason there other than he needed 2 different radii for walls, and I think it kind of fits the theme to the map. I think it makes sense that the outer part of the circle actually has a wider wall, because this part of the circle, compared to the inside, is a bit longer in arc length. And Libzor, thank you for the follow. But Church Rush time, yes indeed, that's why we picked the Armenians. Bengales picked for the water for Margougou, and he has won the water completely. And he's stuck in the Feudal Age. And what do you do in the Feudal Age? Well, you kill your opponent's scout for starters. And here come the Warrior Priests. Could be 6 relics now for Uzzi, as the Armenians. Warrior Priests against the low HP scout should be able to fight back. And now, if only that were a siege tower. If only that were a siege tower. How much wood does it have in total? Let me zoom out and double click. There we go. It has around 200k wood, I'll say. It can probably vary a bit based on the amount that spawns in the middle, and players have chopped a bit, so around 200k. And here we're seeing the effect of the forward gold. The Vils will have to run off of the gold, but Margougou does have the option of taking the oysters in the back. There are 4 oysters. That is just shy of 2,000 gold you'll have through all of them. And it gives you a bit of a respite if you're pushed off your front gold, but you can't take those forever. Honestly, I wonder if with the water control, Margougou could think about transporting and taking the oysters on the other side of the map. If he takes the oysters, then he could take Uzzi's oysters and give himself more gold. There's a stable for him, and that looks like it'll probably be light cav to stop monks. But since he's giving up the front of his base, he's also losing access to the stone. Maybe the choice could have been wall up this way to the gate. And he's over 1,000 resources collected ahead. And he has the water control, but he has no map control, and crucially, as the oysters run out, no gold control. Double stables, so it looks like this will be pure scouts into light cav for him, as the scout queued up now. And as much as they have an attack bonus against warrior priests, I don't know if they actually win the fight. And he's still a while before he gets up to the castle age. Remember, the Bengalis do not have knights. They'll only have scouts and elephants. So if monks come out to deal with elephants, it'll only be the scouts that are useful. And no stone, so we can't tower, can't stone wall. And that mangonel will stop the vills from repairing behind the ram. They do have light cav. They do have light cav. They're not Teutons. They do have light cav. But will light cav be enough against warrior priests? If you get enough warrior priests, you can fight the light cav. And a couple of weak vills. Margougou trying to do the workshop. He does construct it. And the light cav, they want to fight. And is that enough warrior priests? I don't think so. I don't think it is. I think the light cav clear everything here. Diving the priests, diving the mangonel and the ram. And that's all dying. The forward Ville dying too. Now, Uzzi still has the position with double monasteries, and he has 6 relics. And let's not discount how sick it is of an eco boost to have 6 relics. He already has 600 gold. And he forced Margougou to react. He forced Margougou to do walls, to do a workshop. But it's now 47 to 32 eco units with 8 fishing ships. And an armored elephant is on the way from that workshop. Is this maybe Uzzi needs to run relics back to a church in his base? He's doing a barracks. Margougou is the favorite on paper in this matchup. I don't know what shape Margougou's in, but so far so good for him. Light cav. Oh, the light cav are going around. Oh, Margougou with the water control. He's destroyed the seawall. Oh my gosh, imagine if there were an overchop here. Oh, imagine if there were an overchop. I think Uzzi could do a diagonal gate here and stop the light cav, but not for long. Maybe it's open out here too. So yeah, the light cav are in. That could be walled. Maybe he wants a house to force them by the TC. Oh, he's an egg shape. And they will start picking off vills on this wood line. At least they have loom. Oh, but Uzzi had so long to notice this. He saw the light cav running in, and he didn't wall. That's 3, 4 dead vills. Can he trap the light cav? No, he's not walling to trap them. He'll lose another vill from the inside there. And that's now a total of 10 dead vills from Margougou. Those light cav have paid off in value. And okay, warrior priest plus siege tower. Who's he trying to use the nerfed siege tower? Don't mangonel your own warrior priests. Castle incoming. 5 on stone. Uzzi has the stone for a castle. Oh, but the light cav are finding the castle vills. They're finding the castle vills. I don't think this is enough though. We might get a vill, but no, they can't path to it. Gets 1 vill. And time for a castle. Alright, had some vills forward already. So full yield. Is the castle forward enough? I guess he was afraid of the mangonels and the ram. And now the monks. So a siege tower is the hard counter to monks. Monks no longer can convert them from afar. And they are faster than monks, so good luck catching it if it can run away from you. Even the base on garrison speed is faster. And there goes the mangonel. Looks like the castle will hit the TC. Fletching and Bodkin still can come in on it. Now 66 to 31 economy. Now there is still light cav in this base. Margougou has complete water control. But somehow this isn't over. Warrior priests do boost the siege tower speed. Can he run down the mangonel with this? Can he run down the ram with it? What if Uzzi plays this sudden disaster style, destroys the palisade, and just goes petards for destroying the TC? Maybe he'll be content to destroy it with the castle. So Margougou could be 0 TC gaming here. Does he want to run out the side maybe with his vills? Yeah, he wants another TC. Castle will probably see that, yeah, so Uzzi will be well aware of what Margougou's doing. Not a lot of fish on the map as well. Yep, good point. I mean, look at how far these fishing ships are from the docks. Margougou trying to do more forward docks just to take more fish. And there is another town center attempted from Margougou. And the siege tower is following him. So if he quick walls, he needs to use houses. Can't use palisades. But I think that's too many light cav. I think the warrior priests won't be able to protect the composite bowmen. Nor will this... Will they? Okay, they do. Never mind, not enough light cav. The monks are not there yet. Even if they were, the siege tower would be the mobile garrison spot. That probably needs to be a delete. Nope, converted spear. And devotion on the way for Uzzi. He's pushing still. He's going to take out Margougou starting TC. Margougou has Vils running around the back, and he's going to dock at the backside of Uzzi's base, where he then can take some oysters. He can take the oysters there and get gold access. Here he is, gold access at the TC. And he's going to... Uzzi will maybe... He's just going to lose the siege tower. There's too little HP now. This is an official clown game. Alright, so Margougou, he's lost his initial TC. And behind this all, Uzzi still has 6 relics. 76 to 39 eco unit count, including 23 fishing ships from Margougou. But 6 relics is what, around 7 to 8 Vils on gold worth of relic income? Yep, only 175 HP for the siege tower instead of 220. Definition of base trade? Well, they didn't really trade completely, right? Uzzi's still here, and he isn't really in the back of Margougou's base. Like maybe half of a base traded. Now, fortified church on the woodline to protect Vils as Margougou tries to break through. Armenian gold Vils, that's true, they will have the extra efficient mule cart techs. So gate is down now, passage is free without use of the need of the siege tower. And more warrior priests hopping inside of rams, who are getting ready for a ram push. That's not enough light cav from Margougou, is it? What do we have here? Like 15 warrior priests? Some in the ram, some in the siege tower. Yeah, they've contacted Uber, they've gotten rides to their destination. And they're going for the TC. Did the ram just kill a Vil there? Now the monks are out. So are the mangonels. The rams looking to drop the warrior priests. The rams will go down though to the mangonels. The monks are in the TC, then they're not converting. And I don't think this works for Uzzi. I think Margougou survives this, as all the warrior priests go down. And now it's 88 to 33 eco. And more light cav pump from Margougou. The TC counts are the same. The Vil count is going down still for Uzzi, and Margougou, he is doing it. I was joking about this, but he is taking that gold. I thank you, Deep Gift, for the follow. Also earlier, the Doctor, thank you for the follow. And there's the GG, and Margougou goes up 2-0. As our Uzzi's like, you know what? 23 villagers is not quite enough to win the game at this point. 59 Vils to 31 fishing ships. Margougou had more fishing ships than Uzzi did villagers. Wish running would have done something like this. You only need, I mean, you don't need any Vils to win. Thank you, Kaiso. Did Uzzi won a game in sudden disaster with 0 Vils? So, stats. Military, 71 to 24 KD for Margougou. Eco, much better eco. And I love the Armenians' play, but didn't quite work out for Uzzi. Give him credit, though, for a pretty awesome strategy with the warrior priests. And I have more of a scoreboard update. Let's see. There, Uzzi loses Coast Arena. And that was Armenians against the Bengalis. And let's see, game. The third will be on Slopes, the lovely map of Slopes. And there were a couple of other sets played today in Gold and Silver. When this is done, I'll probably go cast the Rex of at least one of those. See, I might not want to look at the standings and spoil too much before that, though. Alright, checking out admin channels and seeing what our base is typing. I have too many tournaments going on. Right, so the final map will indeed be Slopes. And yes. Yeah, you gotta see all of our base's messages. That's the downside of streaming. I see messages written from our base, and I'm wondering, is this TTL? Do I need to read this while I'm streaming? Or is it something else? AoE2 music is fire, so is AOM music. And so is that AoE 1 DE soundtrack. Also, thank you everyone for watching on YouTube too. We hit 100 viewers over on YouTube. You're starting to suspect our base isn't just one individual, but actually an entire organization. I'm sure our base would love to have employees who admin tournaments for him, and he could just sit back and be a manager of admins. Our base incorporated. Hello, Cloud Gaming. That's what happens in the Community Cup, right? And Saduri, hello. Yeah, say hi if you're on YouTube. Or if you're, I think D90 was streaming on YouTube too. I've seen more people catch it onto the YouTube trend. I did not see WTL. What is WTL, our base? All right, and 87 seconds, and we'll get into Slopes. And, okay, chat, take a guess at the Civ matchup. Take a guess at the Civs they've picked. I did wear a tux on the other day. We hit a sub goal, so that's a good idea. Hindustanis versus Turks? Ooh, nope. Vietnamese, Turks, Bulgarian, Slavs? Nope. Both going for last pick, Vietnamese, Turks. That would be cool. No, Danny Winks, we don't have the new DLC yet. And Diabolus 3. There we go. That's the first guess that's right. Wei versus Maya. Wei versus Maya. I don't think I've seen this. I think I've seen Wei versus Inca and versus Aztecs. I don't know if I've seen them versus Maya. The Maya at least have halves. I don't know how good Plumes would be against the Shinbei Raiders. I'm not sure what the Maya do in the Castle Age. I feel that all the unique units from the Wei should wreck Eagles. Guess who's the AI and who's the real R-base? Don't Rage Forest have a Guess the Williams type of competition? Where everyone names themselves Williams? And they have to figure out who's the real one? Is this a tournament? Yes, this is a tournament. Yes, indeed. This is TTL. This is the Gold League of TTL. Yeah, we'll have Uzzi here. And do I have my scoreboard right? Nope, I need to flip the player positions. And yes, we'll have Uzzi to the northwest. He'll be playing as the Red Way. And Margougou to the southeast. He'll be playing as the Blue Maya. I guess Vinchester's location competition based on his ping and his time zone. That's a good one. So, Maya versus Wei. The Wei have been incredibly strong so far, with essentially 3 unique units. The Xianbei Raider, the Tiger Cav, and also the Huiguang Cav, for which they have extra hit points. Huiguang Cav is a knight replacement that has less HP but more armor. But the Wei make up for the decrease in HP simply by having more. And we'll have traction trebs, which are pretty weird because they're good at pushing units but not so good at pushing buildings. And the Maya with longer lasting resources can have a lot of castles. And then looking at Margougou's base, back gold, back berries, but forward stones and forward main gold. Forward berries for Uzzi, but he also has a back second gold and a back main stone. So depending on whether you prefer berries or stone being to the front or back, you might prefer one base to the other. Map is of course slopes, so we do have these hares out by the shorefish, hares, and an ibex out there, so the ibex can be pushed in. Do I think Tiger Cav is OP? I personally think their Castle Age version is the only OP version, because the Imp version is just a Paladin. The Castle Age one is definitely better, but in some ways that's like asking, is the Conquistador OP? Because the Conquistador is super strong in the Castle Age, but in Imp, even though it's still strong, isn't as good compared to all the other available units. The Tiger Cav, I think what makes the Tiger Cav so strong in the Castle Age is the fact that you don't actually necessarily have to go for the Tiger Cav. They're a good counter to archers, but your other 2 unique units fill roles that allow you not to have to do Tiger Cav right away. You can kind of delay the castle, get your eco rolling, and wait for them. You could also go them right away and try to amass a ton of them. There are lots of different approaches you could take with them. But you don't have to play 1 TC all in Tiger Cav. You're able to play the Civ boom and play around the Tiger Cav, not just solely with them. Yeah, Rbase can make a map script without introducing random medieval sounding words. Rbase can write map scripts without hallucinating. That's how we know he's not an AI. Or he's just a more advanced AI than any of the companies have access to right now. AoE 2 is just so far ahead of its time that the AI scripts are better than the LLMs. Enemy losing more resources by idling their TC because Tiger Cavs are not dying to TC fire. Yeah, it's like if Tarkans actually were better at raiding. In some ways. Hello, Emu. How you doing? Are you ready to win USA Cup, Emu? Just a dog on a keyboard? Better than the one time I was taking care of my mom's cats, and I had a cat on my computer, which held down the power button and turned the PC off. So Loom now. Loom for Uzzi. And a barracks for Margougou. He's ready to win WTL. If you typed what that was in the chat, Rbase, I'm sorry, but I didn't read it. I missed it. Tarkans are better at raiding. Maybe not as good as Tiger Cav, but they have higher rate of fire since last year. More importantly, they have the thump back. They have the thump back. I look like Spock in Star Trek Continues. I have watched that. I know exactly what that is. Chomsky, we are a nerdy chat here. Of course I've seen Star Trek Continues. The link is just for everyone else. The link's for everyone else. World Team League, 16 team 3v3. Okay, nice. So, militia out from the barracks. Oh, should I make an alias for the command as TTL5? That is a good idea. I'll make a note for myself to do that. with the iconic... I don't know what that sound is, Fish Spirit. I'll have to look it up. You collects working models of fusion reactors. That sounds like a great and valuable thing to collect. So up to the feudal age, and we will see men-at-arms from the way. And here's where those forward berries are maybe worse than the forward stone if the early feudal pressure is able to hit them. And if Margougou wants to win this matchup, I think it has to be by taking an early lead and keeping that lead. If he ends up in a straight-up fight, if Uzzi can boom and get to his Civ's units, then I don't think there's much stopping them if you're the Maya. I think they strictly have the better unit composition. And that's what makes them so tough, because they also have a great eco. We see Double Bit Axe and Horse Collar already finished. And the eco just lets them pull ahead, or stay equal at least, with other strong eco civs such as the Maya. Horse Collar feels greedy? Well, it's not just Horse Collar, it's an extra Vil. And as the way, I think you almost always want to be greedy. Then Mill on the top of the slope, also from Margougou. He's the only one moving out to the slopes. Only that one Mill so far. I feel like the way need an OP infantry unit in Feudal Age to pair with the eco bonus. You think they need a 4th unique unit, Arbase? I think they have enough unique units. They already have the Skirmisher. How much more OP do you need to be? Okay, Uzzi will use the Straggler as part of the wall. That always makes me nervous. He also is open if Margougou can run in, and not quite in time, the house wall goes up. Almost got in. And no arson yet from Margougou either. Maybe he get to the other lumber camp, wall goes up. And it looks like he can probably run through. Give everyone 4 unique units, English Nemesis. We'd have to combine some civs then, and we could maybe combine unique units. Like, Britons and Celts could be combined to give them Woad Raiders and Longbows. Skirms will chase the eagle and archers away at the front. Long Woads with longer legs. The Woad bows. The Long Raiders. I'll say that when you're in London. Yeah, so Vil's on the back for more farms for Uzzi. Vil counts are pretty similar. And he will wall to separate the armies. But that looks like a dead villager. Nothing to protect him. And as Margougou follows up with archers, we'll kill the Vil. And more farms. We'll have another farm at the front of the TC for Margougou. And the archer will raid the berries on the front as the eagle tries to poke down another Vil. Now, downside of the forward berries is you have to deal with the early men-at-arms. Upside is, once you take all the berries and you can finish them fast, then there's nothing else at the front. So one less spot for him to defend if he doesn't go back to those berries. But the men-at-arms do break through as an overchop, and they can get in on the wood line. That's one weak Vil who will go down. Another Vil that's already dead, and Margougou running into the TC. Margougou, no, not like this. Not staying humble enough. Got too greedy chasing Vils. Lost the scout and a man-at-arms. And now it's a 34 to 34 Vil count, and he'll have to run away from the skirms. Let's give Celts William Wallace as their hero. And Uzzi at the front. Vil on the farm has to garrison. Doesn't lose anything, but 3 kills so far from Margougou. If you get Scots before the Batavians, I'm going to riot. There's a map called Monocle. We played that first game number 1 in this set, yes. Does he go full archers like we saw earlier today, or does he switch to a gallows? Against the Wu, I think you have to go full archers. Well, I say that as he adds a barracks, but... I feel that all 3 of the units, the Tiger Cav, the Heavy Huiguang Cav, and the Shenbei Raiders all beat Eagles. But I think Margougou's thought process is more about the eco that he sees, and the lack of walling that he sees. And he'll want to very quickly get Eagles under the TC, and raid with Eagles. And he's thinking less about the long-term military composition, and more about being able to raid the unwalled base. And there's Castle Age, but he'll be almost a minute and a half behind Margougou. Around a minute 25 slower. And the military numbers for Margougou, 18 to 8. He has a bunch of archers, splitting his army up into 2 groups. The skirms can fight either one of the group, but not both. And then he'll have a 3rd group on the way forward, microing everywhere. And if he gets more archers at the front, he can start to idle the farms, too. If you're shooting at a farm, then a Vil cannot work on it. Forging, and he has armor, so that'll be all of the Feudal Age upgrades for Eagles, and a 3rd barracks, so triple barracks Eagles. He does not yet have a market for selling stone. Triple barracks Eagles sometimes is done by selling the stone, so you can have enough gold to afford the Eagles. But it'll be after adding in crossbow and bodkin, so pretty expensive to go crossbow plus Eagle. But with how far ahead he is, he feels that he can afford everything. And Uzzi, afraid of the Eagles, will delete the farm and try to wall up. And he doesn't want to let the Eagles in. And more walls from Uzzi. Forward workshop from Margougou. He sees the walls. And will this be siege tower over the walls? Well, won't need to be if that doesn't... Okay, that does get walled. There is no hole. But little HP on some of the forward walls. And I feel that 4 crossbows should be taking better hits on those Vils. He's probably just microing in the wrong spot for a moment. Does lose a crossbow by the stone mine. And Uzzi mining stone will desperately go for a castle buying stone. And if he does get the castle up, he will be able to do Tiger Cav. And here's the Mangonel. Mangonel ready to hit the TC. But also destroy the palisade to let the Eagles in. And where's the castle? The castle will be on the stone in the back. So he's not going to try to save the TC with the castle. No, it'll be on the stone. And with a tower on the gold, that's feeling maybe not that safe. Here's a crossbow and some men-at-arms getting in. And the castle does go up. And Uzzi had better hope Tiger Cav win him the game now. As he doesn't even have gold, but that's going to be the only thing he can really do. Eco upgrades, I don't think eco upgrades help at this point, especially not heavy plow. Yeah, you do get an extra Vil from that, but that's really the only reason. Maybe extra Vils are nice. This tower needs to be garrisoned again. And the Mangonels will attack the TC as wheelbarrows on the way. But Eagles getting some kills. Again, nice crossbow micro from Margougou to snipe the weak Vils. Eagles fighting the Tiger Cav. More Vils go down. Margougou now with a 10 Vil lead. There's the GG from Uzzi, and Margougou with a 3-0 sweep in gold. Well done for Margougou. And he made that 3rd game look really easy on Uzzi's home map. Maya versus Wei, I was not expecting that Civ matchup to be as close as it was. So that's 11,000 to 9,000. 2k more resources collected by the end of the game from Margougou. Faster castle age time, more Vils, everything worked out. Let me type my scoreboard properly and then tab out. So GG's. Well done for Margougou. And I didn't think the 3-0 would be that dominant, but managed to play very well against Uzzi, who... Uzzi looked good in his set against Kingstone when I saw him earlier. So I think that's pretty impressive. So that'll be his own home map of slopes he wins. And that'll be with the Maya over the way. I'm still not sure what to think of that Civ matchup, but that matchup didn't really depend on the Civ as much as it was Margougou executing on the Men-at-Arms. Yeah, pretty dominant in favor of Margougou. Let me double check what other sets were played today. It was going to be a hard group for Uzzi, but I was expecting this set to be at least somewhat even. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be a complete sweep like that. That was great for Margougou. So let's see, what other sets were done today? Urbase. Overtaken Miguel. Would y'all like to see Overtaken versus Miguel? Because I can do that. Let's do Overtaken Miguel. I reset my scoreboard. It's group A. Alright, and update the maps. And the civs. And the stream titles. And Strecklon, thank you for the follow. So after this set, I think the results of this set are already on Wikipedia, so I don't want to spoil it. I'll check the standings after this set. Just gotta be a bit careful with the Rex. And thank you, Llama Lordy, for the follow. So what do we have for the drafts? High Tides for Game 1, Stranded as the home map for Miguel, and Quarry as the home map for Overtaken. Hello, Tripta. How you doing? All right, so I'll take a quick break, and I'll download the Rex, and we'll get into this next set. So I'll be back in a moment, and we'll do another gold set here, Overtaken versus Miguel. Alright, I am back, and let's download these recs and go. Let's see, download, unzip, paste into the save game folder. Reload the menu. And high tides for game number 1. And load into the game. Where are we? Have too many windows open. And I think we're good. Yes, here we are. As far as I know, Overtaken doesn't have a team. I wasn't able to find one for him. And he doesn't. All right, our base confirming for us, he doesn't. So we'll have Overtaken as the blue Malians to the west, and Miguel as the red Italians to the east. It is, again, that aliens matchup. And wait, what group are these players in? What group are they in? That's Platinum I have open. We're taking this group A, I think. Yes, this is group A. And all right, nice, got the group right. Or oh, no, I need to change that and capture a group A. There we go. Yeah, they're the aliens matchup. A, or from the Civ name. A-L-I-A-N-S. A-L-I-A-N-S. Aliens. Malians versus Italians. So, what is this? Water from both players, I think. Deer pushes lumber camp and go to fight for fish, or the option is skip water and go for men-at-arms. We've seen both approaches on the map. I've seen lots of games where one player wins the water, then loses the game. Alien dance. Hello, hacker man. And big rhinos, so extra food compared to boars, 400 food instead of 340. And over to the dock will be Miguel, the first player to head for the fish, wanting to do a dock. And you could dock the shallows, or you could dock the island. One of the things we adjusted for Hidden Cup was more shorefish in the shallows to make that a viable dock spot, even if you didn't get the island. Looks like Miguel, though, will go for the island. A bit of shallows there on the island terrain. That's interesting. Haven't seen that before. And Desi, thank you so much for using your Prime sub.
Help us! Crusader bandits are everywhere.
No predators. No predators indeed. So you can send the vills without worrying about needing to fight off wolves or crocodiles or anything. And it'll be another dock to the side for Overtaken. And both players docking the island. Miguel walling the vill in. Neither player doing loom, so both players trying to wall without loom. And Obful, thank you for the sub.
Defeat my champion in combat, Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, and I will give you command of my army. Let the tournament begin!
Yeah, I love good old King Sancho. Unique unit Florida man? That's how you fight off gators if gators are a predator. I don't know, would the Florida man have extra attack versus gators, or take extra bonus damage from gators? It might actually be weaker to the gators. Maggers need a new Civ bonus. Oh, that's true. Maggers need a new Civ bonus if we remove the predators from maps. It's true. Maggers. Much weaker. They can tame gators. Maybe the gators tame them. So Zebra is now being pushed in from Overtaken. Loom for Miguel. He looks like he's getting ready to click up with those rhinos under the TC. Maybe a bit of extra food on the rhino. But he should have no problem going up. And he's the Italian, so he is the Italian, so his uptiming will be a bit quicker. Contain gators, and then they get the unique unit, the Gator Rider. Ooh, Gator Rider. Next DLC, Cowboys from Texas. Well, we need something for the Texas map, right? That's been in the map pool since AOC when they introduced the real-world maps. We could use some unique units for it. VMDL. Yeah, the VMDL is probably the most realistic depiction of Florida Man that we could hope for. So both players up to feudal. In terms of walling, now this gold is very far forward for Overtaken. But if you were to get a bit of walling down between this forest and the edge, you'd have a second gold behind the woodline that's pretty safe. Golden berries both exposed, and he'll start doing houses between them to maybe use the berries as part of the wall and go around the front. Meanwhile, the berry is pretty exposed for Miguel. His gold's a bit more towards the back. On the fishing maps, you probably are more concerned about the gold than the berries. Second dock for Overtaken. Miguel still on 1. And he will go for the barracks. Overtaken not doing anything on land. And actually looking into his scouting, I think that's a huge risk not to do anything on land, not to be walled, and not to scout the barracks. He was looking for another dock. There's only so much you can scout at once. And it will be double dock fires versus one dock fire from Miguel. And that should be an advantage on the water from Overtaken. And usually if you get a water advantage that clearly, you are fighting off men-at-arms. But here Miguel not going aggressive at home. Just doing the barracks and nothing else. There'll be a very late barracks for Overtaken, and I don't think he'll be punished for it. And Town Watch on the way for Overtaken. And fires using the fishing ships for cover is Miguel. And we'll try to fight 1v2, but that's not going to work. That's not going to work for him. He's going for a quick demo. The demo, at best, destroys only one fire galley, though. It doesn't one-hit a fire galley. He could maybe snipe fish with a demo. Oh, he's going to loop around and snipe the fish? Oh, he's going to loop around. He's looping around the island. Oh, or will he snipe the villager? Will this be the fish or will it be the vill? So, I mean, docks have good line of sight. Overtaken will see this. Oh, is Miguel staying perfectly outside the line of sight of the docks? Oh, he appeared for a second. Oh, we'll tile off. That would have been perfect if he circled around the entire way. He got a good ways there, and he'll go right for the middle. Oh, one went back to drop off the fish, and he only gets one. After all of that, he only gets one fishing ship. He was right there to get 3, and it turned around at the last second. Oh, no. And well, on land, a couple of archers for him, but Overtaken now 4 fishing ships to 0, and up by a vill as well. He had all 3 once. Oh, he was just a fraction of a second, and he needed to delete it, and he'd have gotten all 3 of them. Oh man, I'm gonna miss demos in the new DLC. That's gonna be sad. We won't have those moments of excitement and disappointment like we have now. Here's Miguel going for another sneak, trying to get into the wood line, but skirms are anticipating that. They're already gonna be on the hill. They were moving demos, they might as well be. They said they made them less disappointing than they were in Thalassocracy, but I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, cheaper age up. So the cheaper age up, but you didn't really do anything with it. He didn't use it for early men-at-arms. He didn't use it for a second dock and early water control. Oh, better demo, better demo. Okay, now he gets 2. Now he gets 2. That's better. That's better. Would have also accepted hitting the Vil as a target. But he will go demos now to try to keep Overtaken off of water. Or to snipe the fish. I saw Licks do this a lot. I always think of Licks when I see this strat. As you pump out demos to snipe fishing ships over time. And he'll just sit there. Oh, wait, no, get more, get more. Be greedy. Be greedy? Yes? Yes. Okay, okay. Starting to make up for that disappointing first demo. Has 3 fishing ships left. If you can get 2 fishing ships, I think it's definitely worth it. And another house for Overtaken. And Miguel's about to lose his dock, so no more demos once the dock goes down. Just gonna walk back with his archers and try to use the cheaper age up so he doesn't fall too far behind Overtaken. 7 archers. Still holding out for a Civ with Mangonel unique unit that does splash damage. And that shoot monks that do splash conversions, that is one heck of a unit. So lumber camp's getting a bit farther from the wood lines for Overtaken. He's maybe overly taking the wood without a second lumber camp. And Castle Age for Overtaken. Miguel? He's going to click up. It's behind a villager now. Here he goes. So only around 35 seconds behind. That's the Italians bonus making up for the huge eco difference now. It's down by 900 res collected, almost 1k eco better for Overtaken, who also is fully walled up across the entire map. Can't wall on the shallows, but you can, of course, dock if you want to make it even harder to sail around. Then use your fires, maybe have a couple of sneak demos ready. Secure the shallows. So double range archers into crossbows for the Malians. Nothing too surprising for them. And right now, 13 archers to 11 does look like the Malians have the lead. Both these civs, university tech bonuses, they can go for early ballistics. And what will be the fight once Scout goes down for Miguel. So Malians, universities work faster, and also buildings minus 15% wood. So cheaper university and researchers ballistics faster. Italians, dock and university techs are discounted, so they will have the cheaper ballistics. He is overtaking the map. He's overtaking the wood. So crossbow, bodkin, wheelbarrow, all queued immediately. Interesting to see wheelbarrow before bowsaw. And ballistics. Ballistics with that university. Quickly clicked for the Malians player. And only crossbow for Miguel, but if he ends up fighting non-ballistics versus ballistics, he will get massacred. And armor also for Overtaken, as Miguel just now doing bodkin. And what type of fight will it be on the gold? Crossbow is starting to pick Vils. Ballistics is there. These Vils are being slaughtered. These Vils is... Oh my gosh, that's 4 dead Vils, 5 dead Vils right away. No chance to run, nowhere to hide. And ballistics pays off big time. Another TC in the back. A couple of scouts. There is a weak Vil there. Scouts don't have upgrades. Miguel trying to do his own ballistics, but that looks a bit too late. The scout goes down. And Miguel trying to hold a hill, but still doesn't yet have ballistics for this fight. Finally gets it. And with ballistics, maybe he can push this back a bit. Still doesn't have the numbers. Lots of splits trying to out micro ballistics. Crossbow's going down. Can dance all day. Well, maybe not all day. Maybe not all day. Slowly he's losing numbers. And finally he's cleaned up. 11-ville lead at the same time, still with fish. Also, let me know if you hear any background noise now. That is the heat in my apartment turning on. I turned it on between the games. So if it's annoying, I'll turn it off again. I'm hoping the noise filter gets rid of it, though. What do Malians have on water to beat Italians? It is nothing in the late game they can do. Their advantage is simply early game with a wood discount. Nothing to hear? Alright, perfect. Noise reduction working then. Is it cold? It is! Let me check where I put my phone. In my pocket. That's a good place to put your phone. It is 29 degrees Fahrenheit now, so I'll chalk that up as around -1 Celsius. Will a Cobra car appear in my room soon? Actually, there's a Cobra car right behind me. It's made out of Legos, though. Lego has a Cobra car. It's the closest we'll get to AoE2 Legos. So Miguel making a return on the water, and maybe the one thing he has that will let him retake the water is surprise. If he surprises with fire ships like he's doing here. No war galley upgrade for Overtaken. This will be pretty late though, and most of the fish already are taken by Overtaken, as Miguel tries to retake the water that already has been taken by Overtaken. And these fire ships will go down. And so will the fish, so will the fish. Making all the units you can as accurately as possible in Lego. I would hope so. And the fishing ships are taken down. And now Miguel defending the docks with the crossbows, maybe looking to cross over on the shallows. Try to get in again, but it's 3 TCs to 1. And if Miguel's focusing on the water, then he's not focusing on his boom. And it looks like he will play full 1 TC as he adds in a Siege Workshop. And it'll be a 1 TC, a Siege push, where Overtaken's up by 15 vills. And Overtaken should see it too. Yes, there he goes. And he'll catch a vill out of position with Ballistic. Should be able to snipe off both of them. Nicely microed to have the hill bonus too. Got closer to the vills and got 2 kills. And now forced to abandon the gold is Miguel as he'll run back to the TC. And we'll have a couple more houses up for Miguel. But will this be enough to keep the crossbows out? Or will that just give the walling vills a false sense of security? Miguel losing army under his TC. In the back, his crossbows maybe going to find a wood line soon. That is a lot of army to clean up in his base as his vills are scrambling. Finally going to get some vill kills, though. With the hill, he does have ballistics, couple of weak vills there. He will deny a TC. Overtaken will not rush that up. Going to flee. He'll clean the crossbows first and then go for it. Only TCs from Overtaken. Yeah, that is the 4th TC, which he wanted. So he will add that. And still not cleaned from Miguel's base. Hey, Miguel, this is horrible. He's got 14 idle vills when he's already down by 25. He's trying to get mangonels, but actually is down in military. As more farms will go up around that TC for Overtaken. And the crossbows hit the mangonels. The crossbows split. And another split. And another hit. And crossbows take down the mangonel. Overtaken, nice micro there to stop the mangonel push. And still with us, couple of skirms, we'll stay and fight the crossbows, wait for a knight to come forward. No upgrades on the knight, so he won't be able to fight that effectively, but maybe still useful for picking stray mangonels. Mango should have been pulled back. Up. Well, looks like Miguel will pull everything back as he'll call GG there. And Overtaken will take game 1. So, I'm not sure what Miguel was trying to do. 1 dock on the water. No sneaking, no men-at-arms. It's like he did minimal investment into everything and got nothing from it. So, GG. I've not put a flag on for Overtaken. Oh, I've not. What is the flag code for Overtaken? Thank you for pointing that out. I should have a flag code for him. Did I spell his name wrong? Overtaken. What is the 2-letter code for... I misspelled the flag code for Estonia, maybe. I wrote EW. List of flag codes. Chat's probably told this to me. It's EE. Thank you. That's just a typo on my part. Thank you for pointing that out. As he'll also give him a win. And is that the right flag? I hope it is. Looks like it. So I'm working on some UI stuff on my own, but I'm in the middle of updating it, and I've not made a UI for it, so I need to type stuff in manually. And typos on my end, do stuff like that. So, let's see, did I check off the... Oh, this is the first game. So that is a win for the Malians and a loss for the Italians. For some reason, I thought they'd played slips already. Thank you for pointing out my typo. So, the next map... Let me leave this one... Next map will indeed be Stranded. That'll be Miguel's home map. Let me reopen Capture Age. And we'll hop right into it. Now, thank you, Dovi Andy, for the follow. Alright, so to the south, we'll have Overtaken as the Blue Saracens. To the north, we'll have Miguel as the Red Georgians. Dock goes up for both players immediately, right next to their shipwreck, and then they'll do a house along with a TC on their wood line. So main wood line TC on the gold for Overtaken. Same thing for Miguel. And you'll have a great fishing eco on this map with that initial fishing ship. The Georgians here will likely want to defend with fortified churches. And I've seen them do some pretty good church defenses so far. They'll boost the eco on land, defend with the churches. And in a map that usually is kind of low population, I don't see too many 200 pop games here with how aggressive it is. Church defense will be incredibly valuable for stopping pushes from these hills. On the other hand, Overtaken as the Saracens. Looking to use the market, looking to use the archer bonus against buildings, and also they have faster firing galleys on the water. Not usually what you think of as a nomad civ, but maybe with the starting fishing ship, he has a build planned out where he'll use the market to go FC crossbow and then push on land. I feel like this Dark Age could be 2x speed. Our base telling me to go 2x speed. Church defense sounds funny. Well, that's what fortified churches do for you. Fortified church has the same HP as a town center, 2,400, but it costs about 1/5 the wood to repair. TCs cost twice their 275 wood cost to go from 0 to full HP. So that's what, 275 times 2, 550? Churches cost half their wood cost, which is 100 wood. And then, on top of that, building repair is 25% less for the Georgians. So, yeah, you can repair churches forever if you're playing as the Georgians. How does the damage output from churches compare to castles? That's a good question, because a lot of it will depend on what it's targeting and what the special bonus damages are. I know that castles themselves have a ton of extra bonus attack against ships. I'm not sure if churches have that too, if you were to, say, do a church near the coastline. Against buildings, I'm not sure either. If a castle gets constructed, we'll have to check the bonus attacks. But that's a good question, because it all depends on the secondary arrows. Actually, I don't even know if Capture Age shows that. It might not. There are weird situations, like if you get into a tower versus tower fight, the first arrow does 1 damage, but when you garrison vills, the extra arrows do more damage, because they have different stats. I'm not sure exactly what the stats currently are for the church, and they might even change next week for the DLC if they decide to alter the churches a bit. So that is a very good question, and unfortunately I don't have a great answer for it. Alright, these Rex, yep, these were played earlier today. Stranded, lots of water buffaloes, and I don't see anyone going for a forward dock. So safe fishing for both players, and huge commitment to fish from Miguel, 11, 12 fishing ships. 12 fishing ships from him, and more on the way. So there's Overtaken up to feudal, and he will do a forward range, and if he does range plus market, he's selling the stone to buy his way up. He doesn't do a market, and I'm not sure what his plan is. Because he's so close to going up, this can't be feudal archers. Is it feudal archers? Oh, maybe it is. He had 600 plus food. It felt like if that blacksmith were a market, he'd sell the stone for gold, maybe sell 100 wood, buy a round of food, and be up. But no, he's going to go for archers. Okay, so it's maybe a bit difficult to do damage on Stranded, because your TC is in such a great position on a wood line and on gold that you can run behind it and be safe. Now, the archers do have fletching, the vills do have loom. If someone tried to FC without loom, this would be great. But players usually do indeed click loom on this map. What is the most iconic AoE 2 unit? Probably the villager. Other than that, probably the Teutonic Knight or the longbow. If you played AOC, then maybe the plumed archer. Maybe the Cobra car. Yeah, maybe the Cobra car, actually. The cheat unit. I'd say the AoE 1 priest, but that's not an AoE 2 unit. And first archer will be picked off. And there we have the Castle Age finally for Overtaken, but he'll be almost a minute and a half slower than Miguel. And he won't have nearly the number of fishing ships. 6 to 13. Miguel has 2 fires out. He's getting a 3rd dock. Fires are sailing 1 around each edge of the coastline. And only 1 fire for Overtaken. So Miguel shouldn't have to worry about anything for his fish. He's going for a scout's opening, and will damage the archers and prevent the Vil from coming forward. And Vil does manage to quick wall herself. Keeps her safe by the house. The Scar might be the most powerful unit. I don't know if it's the most iconic. And double stables. All right, double stables for Miguel as the Georgians. Potentially a risk against Saracen camels. But if it looks like the Saracens player simply is going crossbows, then knights feel the way to go, especially if your fish are powering a food eco that is set up for producing knights or food units. So fire ship fight on the outside. 1 HP left for Miguel. That's all you need. And he's not going to repair it, just going to sail forward again. There's the fortified church, and at the same time, scouts trying to pick off a spear. Lots of archers out, though. And maybe overstaying its welcome against the spear. Most iconic game sound related to AoE 2 has never actually been in the game. It's in the taunts. You can taunt 30. But yes, you're right about that. Knights pick off the spear. And they'll kill some archers. Here come those camels, though. Camels have extra hit points starting out at 125, and Bloodlines, if that comes in for Overtaken, pushes them to 145. Miguel getting in on Overtaken's fishing eco. Those fires he sent forward, but it didn't work. He'll try to sail away on the other side too. Maybe repair that fire, bring in some reinforcements. Overtaken will now be taken off the water, or at least mostly taken off, as that 1 HP fire galley against the fishing ships. Look at how much damage that 1 HP fire galley has done. 1 HP finally goes down, but will win the fight regardless. Miguel's starting to lose his fish too, but with 14 of them still out there, and the fact he's already taken most of the fish, he'll need to start adding in farms at some point anyway. And another TC up for Miguel. There'll be some deer in front of the TC. So gonna take the deer, try to avoid farms even longer. Let's pick off an archer. And get a bit close to the TC. But I still don't think they want to fight camels. Saracen camels are so scary. Maybe if they take the hill bonus, though. Not enough camels out yet. And Dovi Andy, thank you very much for the sub. Stranded is incredible. I know. I've played this map years ago. That's why we brought it back. And it is very hard to play.
Attila, that boar would have killed me had you not intervened. Pity that none will ever learn of your loyalty. Archers, attack!
Thank you for the sub. And we'll have a forward workshop. Forward workshop there for Miguel, looking to apply pressure with the monks. He's got bloodlines on the way for his knights. And cav archers, an interesting choice for the Saracens. In AOC, they had an attack bonus against buildings, but they don't have that bonus anymore. It's only the crossbowmen for the Saracens that would do better against buildings. And Miguel's eco's still much better. He's up by over 2,000 resources collected. And he's maybe soon to push Overtaken off of that starting wood line. Doesn't have a ranged unit yet, but will once the workshop's up. His voice line, that was Bleda. That's from Attila the Hun 1. Yeah, I have like around 60 or so voice lines from the campaign randomly in the sub alerts. And there's a couple more I still want to add. Should be charging conversions on the vills. Now that's a good point. You could charge conversions on the vills and be ready to swap them over to the camels. And, ooh, nice split there. Only one cav archer hit by the mangonel shot. And Overtaken with that mangonel doesn't want to engage. Knights and more knights. Healing knights, too, from the Georgians. They'll get 8 HP per minute now. And he's content to camp the top of the hill. And here come the camels and the cav archers. The camels have tried to dive the mangonel. Monks want some conversions. And the camels, ooh, they get the mangonel just barely. And now the mangonels will want to convert cav archers as knights also. One conversion comes in, knights also attack the cav archers. And if these cav archers are pushed back, then that gold is exposed and raided by the knights. Right now, all of the vills on gold for Overtaken. He's relying on the Saracens market if he needs to buy food, which isn't really doing all that much. Buying stone and wood. And he's getting a second TC. I was talking about defending with the churches earlier, but you can also be very aggressive with the churches. 200 wood for an essentially indestructible building that now for the Georgians also will... what's the bonus? Receive minus 15% damage when located on higher elevation. And, well, you have a great hill. Great hill for Stranded. There's a bit of randomness to the hills, but you usually can take the top with churches or other buildings and be aggressive from there. How did we get to Saracen CA? He stopped making the crossbows. That's how he wanted a unit to fight the Georgian Knights and felt that the CA maybe were better than crossbows, especially once Siege started coming out. Also, ooh, the vills on the gold finally have to flee. No ballistics in for the cav archers yet. They'll fight the knights as best they can, but still get forced away. Yeah, no +2. No +2 armor. It does hurt against the cav archers. That's true. We'll have a third TC. Oh my gosh, Overtaken. Overtaken, he spots the TC. And no ballistics, but he'll jump the Vils. Is right where he wants to be. Splits the cav archers into 2 groups. And okay, finally Miguel. Something going wrong for him. Everything had gone right for him so far this game, but he'll lose a bunch of Vils by that TC. And he is lucky that Overtaken, or, well, maybe not lucky, it's his fault that Overtaken doesn't have ballistics. He's been applying all that pressure, but Overtaken doesn't have ballistics, so some of the Vils do escape. Now, some monks still pressing forward for Miguel. So Miguel tries to attack the TC, and the knights will raid the eco by standing idle inside of it. And so we've heard about stand ground patrol. Miguel doing the stand ground stand. Does Overtaken have thumb ring? No, he does not. Just Bodkin. Struggling to afford upgrades on the cav archers, especially without fishing ships. He's down to 3 fishing ships. And Miguel making another run for the TC. With the knights there, he'll be able to get it this time. Overtaken trying to micro in different parts of the map. But now 45 to 76 on the eco count. 20 Vils and 14 fishing ships of a lead for Miguel. And even pressuring with the ram. Trying to hit the TC with a ram push now. He's got 3 converted cav archers of his own. Waiting on water to boil is the most boring part of cooking. I would love some boiling water with all the snow I have outside these days. Miguel, more like Wingel. I don't get it. Antarctic rabbit. As much as you just want him to win, I don't think that works. I'd like it to work. I don't know if it does. I think that's too big of a change to the name. It's not like Winland for Finland. Well, cav archers here have a hill bonus against the knights. The knights at least have their second armor clicked. They have bloodlines now in 1 armor. Is there any devotion? No, Overtaken is not devoted. He's just losing his buildings to rams. Making the L's. Ooh, those Vils. Those Vils garrison just at the right time as that Miguel wanted to hit. Feels like Miguel might win. Well, I mean, he's getting raided. His Vils will hop in the fortified church. And now that cav archer is in, he's got a 2k score lead. And at about 10,000 more resources collected so far. I think he just might win the game. Just might. Okay, Overtaken, grabbing all the Vils and just sending them to the rams. Sending them to the rams? Maybe stops. Does he stop the rams? Are there too many knights here? I think there might be too many knights. And the Vils all go down. There's the GG, and Miguel ties it 1-1. So Stranded played that perfectly, I think. 66 to 53 KD. Yeah, much better eco, and I'm very surprised that Overtaken's build. Yeah, it feels almost like the previous game where Miguel had that fast feudal build with the Italians and wasn't able to do anything with it. Overtaken had a build for the Saracens, but while Miguel fast castled, Overtaken both lost the water and then, being in the feudal age, also lost the land. But Georgians, I think, are particularly strong fortified churches. should be particularly strong for Stranded. And let me update the scoreboard. It's a win for Miguel. Overlay disappeared. There we go. And for the map, the win for him on his home map of Stranded with the Georgians over the Saracens. So Saracens there, no Malay, no Koreans, no way. Overtaken has a lot of strong civs, but opted not for Malay. Interesting not to go Malay there. What ratings are these guys? Right now, I'd say around like 2K5-ish. Yeah, what does that dashboard say? 2K4 to 2K5? Yeah, Miguel, probably not quite among the top players like he would have been in the past. Well, it's still really good. And, let's see, what is Twitch going to tell me? Alright, I'm just going to play a quick ad on Twitch so that we don't have ads during the games, and then we'll get back into game number 3, which will be on Quarry. It'll be on Quarry. Let me open up Quarry. Oh, that music. Oh, why is that? I need to fix my overlay still. Names disappear sometimes. There you go. Fix that. Have I been able to catch some grubby streams? I have not. Do I know of any young ones coming in? Lewis and Sebastian are all pretty young. I mean, Vinch Hare and Leary are still not old, too. That's pretty young. Mem's pretty young. Is he getting into AoE 2? I mean, I think he has... Doesn't he have, like, some type of show match or something he's playing? I know he played AoE 2, like, years ago. Like, when AoE 4 first came out. Doubt is young. Doubt is eternal. Doubt is eternal. Lucho and Prisma, too. Lucho and Prisma. He's old enough that dad jokes fit the market. Oh, boy. Alright. Well, here we go. Game number 3. We'll have Miguel as the Red Turks to the northwest, Overtaken as the Blue Malay to the southeast. I guess we can speed the Dark Age a bit here. We're all young, for we live in 1999, if only. If only we could revisit that world. You know, one thing I absolutely do not miss from the 90s is phone calls. I don't know how I lived with that, or how we all lived with that, and I guess for decades before that too. Like now, if you don't want to get a phone call, you just take your phone and you put it on silent. Back in the 90s, you would have this loud ringing whenever someone called your house, and you had to run to grab it immediately. And you couldn't ignore it. It was just there everywhere. And then it got even worse in the early 2000s or late 90s when you'd go to use the internet and the phone call would drop your dial-up. She was a doctor and had a beeper? Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, gosh, a couple of years ago, I was trying to help take care of my grandmother, and she had dementia, and there was no way she was ever going to learn how to use a cell phone, so she still had the old landline phone on her kitchen wall. And whenever it would rain, or there'd be a heavy storm, sometimes the phone service would go offline, and I'd have to go try to get the phone company to send someone out to fix the landline. And it was a nightmare. I'm not old enough for dial-up. I am old enough for dial-up, Alex. I lived through dial-up. Both the wire while talking. Anyway, we will have a drush from Overtaken as the Malay, trying to drush the Malay. Not just a water map civ, also a good closed map civ. They'll be fighting the Turks. We've seen the Turks on this map. I casted a game against the Bohemians, and as long as the Turks have gold, I do feel that they have the better unit composition, and I think that'll ring true against the Malay as well. What I worry about is the point of the game. If Overtaken has the map control, he can grab 4 relics, take the gold in the middle, and not let Miguel get to gold. The late game composition will be artillery cannon, Sipahi cav archers, maybe hussar raids, maybe hand cannoneers or janissaries, but the Turks, no upgrades to skirms. They're stuck with feudal skirms and feudal spears. No pikemen. Thank you, Flick Flawed, for the follow. Had that second phone. Oh, yeah, a second phone line. I didn't have that. Oh, yeah, still phone companies. Actually, it's super annoying, though, because the phone company, they have a store you can go to if you're, like, buying a cell phone or whatever. But they only do mobile stuff. They don't actually help. They can't actually help you with the landline, despite being the same company. It's literally going to the store to be told to call customer service. That's what the 2020s are. Physical stores are no longer useful. They can compete with Turks with chemistry timing? Yeah, I mean, Malay can have great up timings. And that house getting pretty weak. Miguel will be happy now that he's feudal and that house has more HP and more armor. So 2 militia drush, 3rd and 4th militia added in. As Overtaken is thinking about sending vills forward, they'll do an archery range. And he'll continue trying to apply feudal pressure to these walls. These walls are uphill. I did make a very small bug fix to the map, so cracked terrain no longer spawns occasionally between the dirt and the grass. One player might have a tile or 2 of cracked terrain weakening their walls, so I made that a bit more fair now. They weren't that useful in the 2000s either. Fair enough. Fair enough. Arson now? Arson soon, I think. You're absolutely right about that. You do want arson to break through the houses faster. The Malay, of course, also have their free armor for their militia line. So if the archers pop out, they won't push the men-at-arms away as quickly. That Pierce armor will matter quite a bit in the early feudal age. And also trying to do archers, Miguel is housed. He's housed, and he overforges the berries, and the men-at-arms almost are in, but lucky enough for Miguel, he's already built the mill in a position that essentially funnels them into the TC. And that was a close one, but the stone walls continue going up. And for now, at least, it does feel like he's safe as an archer comes around and the walls already are behind the mill. Maybe this denies some of the forward stone walls he might have wanted, but at the very least, he's not dead due to men-at-arms. Old men-at-arms funnel, yep. Even before we had a chicken funnel, there's a men-at-arms funnel. Men-at-arms now trying to break through the stone wall as more walling happens for Miguel. And he'll start mining stone. He'll need to make up for all the stone he spent and start gathering it back. Does chicken funnel? Chicken funnel still works, Drex. Yes, chicken funnel still works. I don't think we have any maps in the TTL pool where chicken funneling would be viable. And, ooh, there is a gap between the wall and the house that wasn't filled in, and that will let Overtaken run through. He now is trapped if Miguel ever goes out and rewalls that. And Miguel will quickly throw up a panic wall to try to stop the men-at-arms from getting in to the wood line. That's not going to work. They are in, and here's a dead Vil. And a second dead Vil, maybe. Oh, he slides right on by. Okay, that is somehow only a single dead villager, but lots of idle time for Miguel now. And almost 1k more res collected for Overtaken. And now it's feeling like Miguel has to somehow get these walls up at the front, clean this army, and then hope that Turks have a better late game than Malay. Because he is mightily struggling here. Chicken funnels OP. Maybe I should have made a funnel-specific map for players. Add in lots of funnels. And Miguel, he's going to call it. Overtaken. Simple win for him. Not much to say about that. He did men-at-arms and he pushed him. Miguel couldn't wall it out. He tried to go for the stone walls, but the berries betrayed him. Berries betrayed him. Yeah, great result for Overtaken. And let's look at the score and then check the scoreboard. So 75 KD for Overtaken, but the eco had ballooned to over 1.1k extra res at that point. And Miguel was looking pretty dead. Yeah, he took that game right from the start. Not much for Miguel to do after that Overforge incident. So let's go and check the standings for Gold League then. So Gold League standings. And what do we have here? We will have Group A, Prisma, Valis, Valessa, Miguel, Wide, and Overtaken. And has this been updated, Arbase? I think this... Has it? Miguel, Overtaken, it has been, okay. So, Overtaken on 3 wins. Miguel, who had been playing very well, will now sit in 4th after going 1 and 2. The scoring is based on number of games won. And then the first tiebreaker is sets won, so games are what matter. And he did at least pick up a win and avoided getting swept from Stranded. Valessa and Wide still need to play. Valis and Valessa are a bit ahead, already played their set from round 4. Looking at the rest of Gold, Doubt still dominant in Group B. He is undefeated. And same thing for Jordan in Group C. Stark did lose his undefeated streak in Silver. He's now 11-1. Went 10-0 before losing a game. And then Group D, I don't know what's going to happen in Group D. Everyone between 3 and 5 points with 2 rounds to go. Kaspa, maybe the favorite? Oh, actually, Kaspa still has to play against Classic Pro, so those two could even pick up more wins now. Okay, so they still have a bit more leeway than everyone else. That'll be a good set for both of them. Margougou is at 6-0. Is that set not listed? Yes, Margougou is at 6-0 as well. You're right. Margougou Jordan. Next week. Imagine if Margougou Jordan decides the group. Margougou, yeah, 3-0 over Ganji, 3-0 over Uzzi, and probably securing himself a repeat in Gold at least. He was one of the players I wasn't sure how he'd do based on the fact he hasn't really been playing AoE 2 all that much from what I've seen. But winning against Uzzi and Ganji, clean sweeps, puts him at the top of the standings. Does have to face probably the top 3 players now in Jordan, Dogao, and Kingstone, but he got the easy sets out of the way. Not to say they're easy. Ganji and Uzzi are still great, but maybe easier relative to Kingstone, Margougou, and Jordan. So still rooting for Daniel over here to get back to Platinum. Still has chances, I think, against Classic Pro and Kaspa. But Turs is a player I think you needed to win against. 1 and 2 against Stone Please and against Turs is kind of painful. But then he did win 3-0 over Tutuzu, and that's propping him up right now. And Cuckoo needs to stay humble. Silver, let's check out what's going on in Silver. So, schedule lots of Silver games tomorrow I'll try to cast. If Silver goes on at the same time as Platinum, I'll probably just cast the Rex after Platinum. Kind of like today. So, Silver, we have Blue dominating in Group A. Niaz hot in his heels, though. Blue did win 2-1 over Babarurum. Group B, Kambito. We casted Kambito Survivalist, and Kambito got a nice sweep. There was a crazy game 3 there that Survivalist was down, and he came back, and then he lost again. That was a really good game at the end of last night. But Kambito winning Group B. Group C, it looks like it's right now between Husiel and Gabby, but Gabby has a big set against Cosmonaut here. Husiel has already played round 4, so if Cosmonaut gets a sweep, he would tie Husiel at 9 points, and if Gabby gets a sweep, she would go to 10 points and move up into first, heading into the final round. Where she faces Lamo, who so far has only managed to win 1 game. And important that she manages to get 3 games from Lamo, too. Husiel in the final round does face Monos, who I think is probably the better opponent. Did win 3-0 over Lamo. And then, maybe the story of Silver League is Stark. 11-1. He's already clinched his Gold League spot for next season. He's up by 4 points with 1 round left, so he is clinched, as far as I can tell. He did not have Chart last in this group. Yeah, he's... Well, I mean, he's had a bunch of 1 and 2 sets. Alright, so he's last, but it's still been close for him. Also, his name is capitalized here and lowercase everywhere else. Look at that inconsistency on Wikipedia. Gabby OP. Well, still a big set for her against Cosmonaut. A really important set there. Alright then, I think that's probably it for me tonight. I think we're caught up on Gold League at least. Let me check the schedule for tomorrow. So thanks again, T90, for the raid, and I hope he made his flight okay. And let me check, where is the dashboard? Here's the dashboard. What is the schedule for tomorrow? Oh, big day tomorrow. Actually, huge day tomorrow. So, right. Oh, actually, wait. I can do something. I can do something, right? There is... display. Stream mode. What does this do? I have no idea. I just removed stuff. Okay. Thanks for casting. Well, thanks for watching. So, tomorrow... Big game of gold. Big day for gold and silver. Oh, yeah, there's no platinum tomorrow. No platinum tomorrow. So I think we'll start at 14 GMT. What order do we cast? Maybe we'll do the Gold League set of Sobek Z40 first. How's antagonist in silver? But then antagonist target, say my name, you pudding. Several sets all at 14 GMT, so we'll cast one of those live and cast the rest as Rex. And then at 16 GMT, we'll cast Cosmonaut versus Gabby live. Wednesday is the most scheduled out day. I mean, Tuesday looks pretty scheduled out, too. Also, target Dragonstar in another tournament in the middle. Wait, maybe can I just... I wish I could do gold plus silver. Oh, can I do, like, A and B? No, that's still B tier. Oh, silver is A tier still. Okay, A tier. That does it. And that's our TTL schedule. So 4 sets tomorrow. We'll figure out what order we cast them. I'll probably start with the gold set, then do the live silver set, and then the other 2 silver is Rex. Filtered by A tier. Yeah, I figured that out. I figured that out. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Danny Winks. All right, so I will send a raid on to someone on Twitch. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you back tomorrow, and we'll end the stream on YouTube.